Hey guys, I'm Tim.
I'm Bob.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Dan.
This is the Board Game Rundown. Today we are continuing a list that I'm so excited to continue. It is our top 50 board games of all time.
Whoop, whoop.
Today we are covering 20 through 11.
It's getting serious.
These are 100% the confirmed best 20 through 11 games
They're the top
ever of all time.
Yes.
Well, I
but
mean,
Tim,
all except the ones Dan brings up.
Mike.
But
Accurate.
First, make sure you like, subscribe, ring the bell, comment below with what you think about what we're talking about. Do you agree? Do you disagree? How wrong is Tim? You know, Foundation should have been somewhere in there.
Where in the
Correct.
top 50 games I don't ever want to play again.
Whatever.
Yeah, it's a good game. Yeah, make sure you do all those YouTube things and follow us.
Yeah.
Get on
Yes.
Discord.
There's actually, I have seen somebody put their top, like their favorites. Dan's been asking like
Yeah, no, that's
people's
great.
favorites from each of our lists.
Well, yeah, I'm actually going to do that ahead of the video now because I usually wait till the end. But for you who don't feel like waiting till the end, which is totally understandable, or feel like skipping through, what I want you to do is, out of our list today, list your favorite game from each list in the description. Like, basically, if you were building a 10 out of each of our 50s, right? That is basically what I'm asking here. Like, each of us are going to give 10 games. Huh?
It'd be a top 5.
Huh?
It'd be a top 5 list.
No, but they would have 5 top 10 lists. They would have
Correct.
a game from yeah. What?
and why are mine the best?
So far,
Yeah.
I'm going to get some crap for some games on this list today, but this is my list.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Is these are each of our own individual lists. These lists are also made of games that, given perfect circumstances,
Perfect conditions.
player counts,
A lot of time. Yep.
all of that. Yeah, like Bob's got a list of games that he hasn't even played, but they're in his top, 50 because he just wants to play them.
right?
I
You'd
do.
like
Oh,
to
wow.
play.
I've played everything on here at least once.
Okay, fair. Same.
I hope so.
I would hope so.
But yeah, some of them not as much as others because the player and time restraint.
Sure.
But
There are some amazing games that you can play that maybe you've only played a few
The
times.
top
Correct.
50 Shelf of Shame is a totally different video.
Oh, baby.
And in which case,
Ooh.
Bob's got
hey, calm down.
It's all Lacertus.
I'm telling you right now, and this is why obviously I know that I'm right. Out of my top 20 games, I don't think I will have a single complaint except once by Tim.
High Foundations.
Out of my top 20,
Yeah, nice.
I think so.
That's pretty
We'll
good.
see.
High Champions of Midgard.
That was already
Yeah,
mentioned.
there'll be a little bit of a.
That's all right. Everybody's
back
going to
to
complain about some of mine.
Yeah,
and I don't care.
That checks out.
Exactly. You
every
like
week.
bad games.
Same.
Yeah.
So Bob,
Yes, and he still rates them 10s.
take it away.
So, number 20. So this is a relatively new game, but we played it and I had a ton of fun. And it's a lot like an older game that's been out that I've played a few times that I had a bunch of fun with. Agents of Smersh.
Wow, already that high?
Already, I love
awesome.
the matrices with how you make all the decisions and the co-op working together.
So
like,
what is
I
Agents
had
of
a blast.
Smersh?
Agents of Smersh, it's basically if you played Arabian Nights, it's kind of like that, except it's cooperative where you have characters, you're getting attributes, and then you're going to be going on missions, and you're going to have like a this way or that way choice to make, and they're going to go into like a big book and ask you which way you're going to go, and depending on what abilities you have, you'll have different options available to you. But in Smersh, as opposed to the Arabian Nights, you're going to be working together, and you're going to be kind of building up until you think you're ready to take on the last guy, and then you'll work together to take them on.
It is basically a cooperative choose-your-own-adventure
Yeah.
story where you're
Yes.
leveling up your characters and you are going on missions and you are reacting to the missions and saying, I'm going to do this. And then there's a giant ring book of people reading you what happens as you're going through the stories. One thing that was really interesting with this one, it did not make my top 50, but I just haven't played enough. I love Tales of Arabian Nights. I actually think that was in my top 50. I'm not sure. But one thing that's really cool about Smersh is there's like boss fights now to where you all go in together during the boss fights, and it will say like, okay, you guys are sneaking into the thing, test athletics or something, and we can all talk about, okay, who's going to do
good at
this part of the
athletics?
plan.
Yeah.
Bob, you're really good at athletics. You break into the complex, right? And then Bob does the skill checks for that, and then some story happens. Then depending on which minions you beat and stuff like that, that will change branches of the story. And it might be like, we beat part 2, we go to encounter a minion. If you already beat this minion, skip to encounter 4, right? Because you've already beat them. And it's a really cool
I love
secret
Choose Your
agent
Adventure.
theme.
Yeah, with the secret agent theme is super cool. But yeah, like Choose Your Own Adventures, I used to do that stuff all the time when I was little. Like all these books. Not that I would like. I didn't flip that back all the way. It didn't count.
Right. Yeah, I saw my finger on the page.
Still my finger on the page. Obviously didn't choose that one yet. But no, I love those types of games, and this one does it really well. So
Right on. Oh, that's cool. That is cool. That was unexpected.
Unexpected, yeah.
I think by everybody.
Yeah.
That is a very new game. I was not expecting that. That's cool though that you liked it that much. I'm glad to hear that because I know Levi liked it a lot more than he let off too.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see that you guys like it as much as me, right?
Yeah.
Like,
You just got to play it more.
Yeah. I can say that about any game on my
I know.
top 50.
Yes, I should play
Even
that
if I
game.
played
I
it
should play all
45
these
times.
games more.
Play it more. Yeah, so I love skirmish games. I love Martin Wallace. This is my favorite Martin Wallace skirmish game. It's probably the only Martin Wallace skirmish game.
Probably. So it's like the best
you know
one
what?
ever
It's
done.
my favorite too.
But this might be like my second or third favorite Martin Wallace game, and that is Wildlands.
Yeah, buddy.
I've lumped in the Judge Dredd Helter Skelter in with the OG Wildlands because they are basically the same game.
I've played them. They're the same game.
Mechanically, they work the same. Judge Dredd gives you some different maps, different factions to use, just like Wildlands. So basically what is happening is you're seeding the board. And what I love about it is that like I am picking where I'm going to start, but I'm also picking where your crystals
end
are
games
going
are gonna be.
Yeah. So so as you go around, and in each turn you're going to reveal and place one of your characters until all your characters are out on the board, and then you're running around trying to get to your crystals or kill the other players, right?
Yep.
And so it's basically like first of 5 points. So you either get all 5 of your crystals, or you get a point for killing an opponent.
Right.
But you usually have a team of 4 to 6, depending on what faction you're playing, and they all have their own unique deck of cards. And the cards they make it really limiting, but in an interesting way because you can only take actions based on the cards you're playing. The cards are multi-use.
Right. Multi-use cards.
So, it might be for extra movement or range attack or close, like melee combat. So all kinds of interesting decisions to make. The factions I think are all very interesting. They all play
very differently.
But, mechanically, similar, right? You need these cards, but there's like that wizard team that is basically like mostly range combat,
Right.
and then you got like tanky guys.
Yep, the undead and
the
mechanical guys.
Lots of really interesting choices to make, and just a game that I loved from the first time I played it, and I still love it. And
the seeding the board is a fantastic.
Oh, it's so much fun.
So much fun.
It's so much
fun.
Ooh,
I'm gonna spawn here. I'm gonna put his gem right next to me. Here you go, Tim.
And sometimes you don't even really have to like fight a ton as much as like you don't have to fight to kill somebody. You just want to get out of here, kick them, so then they're going to try to go around, maybe so you can deter people, while still trying to achieve your own objectives. Right. But anyways, Wildlands is a ton of fun. I really enjoy this game, and that is my number 20.
Quick personal thing really quick. I just want to point this out because it's going to be a long video. I recently got over a sinus infection. That's why I wasn't here in last week's videos, and my lungs are screwed, so I'm going to be coughing a lot. I apologize. I'll turn away from the mic when I do it. But anyway.
But turn towards Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah, away from my mic and towards my, not my mic.
Go to hot mic.
Hot mic.
Yeah. So
it's a fever.
My number 20 was number 11 last year. It's still up there.
It's plummeted.
Yeah, it's basically I hate it.
It's still in the same
Not
top
even
10.
good anymore.
Oh, that's true. Still in the same, yeah. But this is my Wolfgang Warsch game, The Taverns of Tiefenthal.
Nice.
Just a fantastic, fantastic game. We've talked about it a bit, but basically for people who might have skipped the older videos, it is a game where everyone has their own pub, bar, whatever you want to call it, and you are doing a mixture of dice drafting and deck building to basically build as efficient and profitable a bar as you can. The bar is a piece of cardboard that actually has pieces that slide out and slide in, so you are literally upgrading your bar as you're going, like flipping the cash register over so you make more money, flipping your wine cellar over so you can carry more alcohol down there and stuff. It's a fantastic game. It has a really cool mix to the deck building to where the cards go on top of your deck in the order you buy them. So basically, each turn you are setting up your future turn. It feels really good as you're going through it. I really don't have any negatives to the game. I even play with, I think, all of the modules in.
Yeah.
I just don't care. Basically, it comes with like 3 different modules, and they just slowly add new interesting things. The more modules, the heavier the game, and so you just choose what thematically or what weight-wise you want to play with. and play with it. The rulebook does a great job of separating them and slowly introducing them and stuff. I just am a huge fan of Taverns of Tiefenthal, and we joked about it in a past video, and I'll say it again. If you own Quacks of Quedlinburg, because most people do, I highly suggest checking out Taverns of Tiefenthal, because most people just seem to have not heard of this game, and I think it's another fantastic outing by Wolfgang
And
Warsch.
it plays way differently.
Oh, yeah, it's nothing like it, but
Correct.
if you like Quacks, he's a good designer.
Yeah.
Check out this one.
Yeah, yeah. Agreed.
Good game.
All right, so my number 20 is a game I only played once at JuliaCon.
Yeah.
And it blew me away. Your sister said this was one of her all-time favorite games. I've had this game in my collection for probably 4 to 5 years now, and I've just been needing an excuse to play it, and this is Clans of Caledonia.
Haven't played it.
This is a really, really good engine building game that is very similar to Terra Mystica. I see why it gets compared to that game a lot, because you're placing buildings out on the board, and then after you do that, there's an income phase, and they'll give you an income depending on what building you have on the board. And there's also different abilities that proc if you build adjacent to other players. But this game almost completely replaced Terra Mystica for me, and there's a few reasons for this. One is I like how more open-ended it feels. I feel like the beginning of Terra Mystica is very tight. The first round, even part of the second round, feels like I can't really do a whole lot. Whereas I feel like Clans of Caledonia, it lets you start with buildings on the map, and then you're already collecting income from them right out of the gate, and every building gives you money. So money or resources, which you can sell for money, but all buildings are built with money. So it's not like, oh, I have to have workers, and I have to have gold, and I have to have this. It's, okay, here's all this money, build whatever you want with it. And I like how open-ended that is. It feels good right out of the gate. Like, I'm collecting $56 per round because of how I build out my engine. Now let's just go build a bunch more stuff. And I really, really like that. And what I didn't mention yet is how part of this game is economic, because part of the game has a variable market, much like Raccoon Tycoon. If you buy more goods, that price will go up. If you sell goods, those prices go down. And the guys that we played with, one of them is a professional stockbroker, and he won by manipulating the market. And the teacher of the game goes, yeah, I've never seen anybody win using that strategy. Oh. So, like, here's a guy that's played it multiple times, and he's witnessing a first-time player use a totally different strategy than what he had seen to win. And so I really like how this game works. That income phase, you can also kind of chain your buildings together. You have some buildings that give you a basic resource, like milk, but then you can also build another building that's a cheese production plant. And then your milk turns into cheese all in that same round. Well, milk's not worth nearly as much as cheese. So you want to convert your milk into cheese because it sells for more. And it works so well. I'm really blown away by this game. It's actually out of print right now. I didn't realize that, and there's talks right now already of the designer is doing a reprint, and there's going to be an expansion for this game. Nice. I'm very, very impressed with this game after just one play. It's got a Scottish theme, which helps for me. I kind of like that. Nothing but good things to say. To put a game I've played once in my top 20 should tell you something. There's a lot of games from this year I played once, I loved, and I had in my 30s and I had in my 20s. But of the games that are older that I played for the first time this year, this one was the one that really sung for me.
Nice.
A couple things. He's the only one that's played it. Right?
Yep.
None of you guys have? Okay,
Nope.
So that's interesting. We'll have to see that at some point. Do you know what Caledonia is? That was just that was curious to me.
Right up there.
I just mean, what is Caledonia as
I
well?
imagine that it is
as a region.
Good point.
Region of
region of Scotland.
And my other thing is pointless, but every time someone says Clans of Caledonia, I think Knights of Sidonia.
Sure.
Right?
I don't
Every
know
single
what that is
time.
either.
The Muse song?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
I know.
you. Okay.
I know. Okay.
And copyright. Okay.
Caledonia was the Latin name used by the Roman Empire to refer to the part of Great Britain that lies north of the river.
Oh, so it's kind of like Mercia then.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
America.
All right.
Anyway, great engine builder, awesome game, and thank you, Julia, for teaching this to me. I am I am very grateful.
Yeah,
Awesome
she
game.
is she is a great ambassador for board games and an enemy of all of our wallets.
I already owned it.
And
so
it's my
thank
big
goodness.
sister, so I can say what I want.
Yeah. Number 19. So, man, there's gonna be a lot of new games on here.
Wow,
Yeah.
weirdo.
Don't tell Andrew. But Planet Unknown is a fantastic
Wow.
game. It's like Mike was saying, it's one of those anytime, anywhere kind of games. Like, it doesn't really matter people's skill level. You can get new people in. People who have like played a lot of games can just flip their standards over to the asymmetrical side, and it's kind of like Tetris in space, right? You're dropping down all these different land tiles. You've got this Lazy Susan that's got these different Tetris-looking pieces on there, and they've got different types of terrain. And as you pick one, you're putting it on your planet. You're trying to fill your planet up from rows and columns. And you're also maneuvering this corporation track that has these different icons on there for like your different like civilizations and ecosystems and water and whatnot. And it's got simultaneous play, so everybody's playing at the same time. Like it's fantastic. I really enjoy this game. It's got the thing that Dan likes with the you're competing with people adjacent to you. That's a cool mechanic.
Only Dan likes it.
Only Dan. He's
Only
That's
Dan's
very
the
important.
I like
only
it
one.
too.
The thing Dan likes.
But Dan, yeah, that's what Dan likes.
Well, listen,
I talk about it a
Dan
lot.
likes like 4 things.
Yeah,
so
true.
it's
That's
worth,
on that
And
list.
that is the thing.
it is
There are
worth
other
pointing
the
out.
things.
Yeah.
Um,
It's that 4 times.
The only thing I hate is that 2 people in our group have this game, and I still want my own copy.
I know, me
'Cause
too.
You can play this game with anybody.
Trust me,
Yeah.
me too. And
it
it's
still
not
gives you
cheap.
that
It's-
gamers good decision, crunchy,
Not only
decisions
is it
to
not
make.
cheap, but it's really hard to get. Also.
Right,
hard to
right now,
find.
at least it's hard to get. Hopefully, that won't
Yeah.
be a problem in the future, but we'll
Yeah.
see.
Come on,
Adam's Apple Games, get on it.
Get on it.
This was number
It's
40
really
for me. Already been
Making
mentioned.
copies.
30 something.
Yeah.
Great
Really
game.
good game.
Mentioned a few times. Yep.
All right. My number 19 was one of my favorite games from last year. It just blew me away. I know that I like it more than everybody else in this group, and I'm fine with that. But I think this is a fantastic game. Mind Management, the psychic espionage game. So Mind Management is a 1v many, and the unique thing about this is that the player that is moving secretly is moving in sort of like a snake fashion. So they can't double back over their own path. There are cards which potentially that you could use that would give you an ability to maybe leap over your path or something like that, diagonally or orthogonally. But they are trying to get to different icons on the board. And then other players, while they're trying to figure out who the recruiter is, are going around and basically trying to get to said icons and then ask questions, right? But one of the things that this game does that sets it apart for me, like from like a Letters from Whitechapel, which I love, or a Spectre Ops, which I think, also fantastic, is the shift system. So let's just say we're playing this game against Bob. Bob likes being the hidden trader, right? Or the hidden person, right?
Yeah.
Moving around. Well, if Bob keeps winning, every time Bob wins, we're going to open up this box and we're going to pull out another component, which is going to give our team another ability.
Right.
Right.
It's basically like a legacy.
Yeah,
in
to
movie
an
game.
extent.
It's interesting.
And
time
so And so you go through, and then after a while, you can choose which ones you want to use. You're not going to get to use like every single thing every time, but you're going to go, okay, so I get this ability, or maybe I get to choose between some of these abilities. And so there's that. There's all these Easter eggs in the game itself, on the game box.
Yeah, that's pretty
in
neat.
the insert.
Yeah.
You know, in the rule book, there are Easter eggs which will allow you to go and find cards that you can print out and use in your game. Which will give you new roles, new abilities, and things like that.
And that's
And
pretty neat.
It's super neat. Deluxe edition is great. I love the artwork. This game blew me away. I love it. I have a great time with it. And Mind Management, the psychic espionage game, is my number 19.
Yep. It's a good hidden movement game. It didn't make my top 50, but it's a good hidden movement game. I don't like that 80s art style. Every time I talk about the game, I say it's 80s art style.
I like that
I
game.
know, it's hilarious. I just love
I like
saying
that game quite a bit. The only time I got to play it was 3 players. I was the guy running, and you and Jesse were trying to find me. I like how it gives you guys have information on where you think I may want to go.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sure.
Like there is deduction that's not just, well, I'm guessing he's over here. Well, he needs to get over by this icon, so he could be over by this one or by this one. I like how it points you in a direction.
Well, You have to figure out that it's
well,
pointing
you
in a
also get to
direction.
ask.
You do.
You get those clue tokens, right? So it's like, oh, he was here on turn 3.
You're slowly putting the path
Holy
together.
smokes. Yeah. And then you can kind of build off of that. And the way that you'd use the dry erase marker and you're writing down on those tokens and putting just totally a really neat.
There's a lot of cool stuff in there. I'd recommend checking it out. The theme just doesn't do anything for me.
I thought the theme was great. Yeah,
right.
but again, it's a theme that appealed to me that didn't appeal to you. Right. Yeah.
I liked it and want to play it more.
Okay, my 19 brand new to the list. This is the contention one. Foundations Rome is just fantastic.
Whoop, whoop.
It made
Only contention by me. I mean,
exactly,
everybody else,
which is why there's really no contention.
everybody else is in the boat with you, rowing the same way, and I'm just like, well, I'm just not gonna.
I know, but I'm just saying, out of my top 10 though, I'm just saying this is the contention one.
Oh, sure.
We'll
Bob, grab that green screen and put it over Tim's face.
Yeah.
We don't need him for this segment.
Foundations of Rome. We've talked about it 8 billion times. It'll probably be talked about again. Has everyone talked about it already?
I don't think Bob has. It was in my 30s.
I certainly have not.
Okay.
You haven't, Tim?
Nope, I haven't talked
It'll
about
be
it.
talked about
talked
again.
about it.
It is a
Spatial.
yeah. What do you call that area?
Control.
What's
Numbers.
it called? I can't remember what
Boxes.
it's called. Yeah, grid-based
Yeah.
area control.
Hey,
Yeah, there's a grid. There's a grid A through like J, and then like 1 through 10, and there's cards for each of those called deeds.
Right,
then
and you're building buildings.
Yep, and you're claiming territories, and you're building buildings according to what shapes you've got, and you're trying to like make money and earn victory points accordingly.
Just a really cool a way to do it feels thematic, even though the game's pretty abstract. You do feel the theme in this one quite a bit, which I like. And honestly, I love the steal mechanic. I think you complained about that when you talked about it.
No,
about it.
I mentioned that it happened to me twice in the last game.
and
Right,
it was just
but
a
I
raw
And we literally
experience.
could have just
Okay.
traded for the one.
Right, he didn't even ask.
didn't even
Ask,
like,
that's mine
I'm gonna
now.
take that now. And like next year he's like,
yeah.
well, I'm gonna take
There's
this
a
one.
cool,
Like, we could have just traded.
I don't mind.
There's a cool mechanic in one of the expansions where basically you have like just victory points that you can just give to someone to force them to give you some territories.
Yep.
It just feels really interesting when you do it. I don't know. We'll talk about it more later, and we've talked about it in the past. It's a fantastic game.
It's a great game.
Yep.
Yeah, if you're gonna spend $200 to play a game for 30 minutes, go for it.
There we go.
It's a bit overpriced.
Get that green screen. Okay, so this is this week's segment of Mike mentions a game and everybody else craps on it. Because my number 19 is Wingspan.
I'm not gonna crap on it. It's a good game. It's just overrated.
I really enjoy the game of Wingspan. I've played Wingspan 17 times.
You and
So
millions
I've
of people
played it a
enjoy
lot.
the game. Wingspan.
I enjoyed it a lot. I like that it is just a simple, elegant engine builder that's over in 45 minutes. I feel like I enjoy what I accomplished during that time. It feels tight because there aren't a ton of actions. It doesn't last for hours. It's only 4 rounds, and you only have so many actions each round. I like the variety in the cards. I really like the art on the cards. And I have shown this to people that have enjoyed it and then went and bought it a few days later. And I am just a big fan of Wingspan. This is my number 19, not anybody else's.
Nope.
No, it's a really good game that is not in my top 50.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
all.
I
I
get
enjoyed
it.
enough to pimp my copy out. I got a bunch of the upgraded bits. I got the little like printed out guys.
Nice.
I don't play it a lot though because I have a lot of other.
I mean, I only have the Europa expansion. That's the only one I've played with. I recently picked up the Oceania expansion. Haven't even touched the Nectar or any of that stuff yet. And I still like what the base game and just the Europa expansion.
I feel like there's enough cards in there already.
Well,
there's a
also,
ton of cards.
Well, very soon, perhaps even before this video is out, probably before this video is out, we'll have a review of the Asia expansion.
the newest
as well.
expansion.
Which I haven't picked up yet. Definitely interested to see what that offers.
Yeah,
but
Andrew was pretty excited about it.
Yeah.
I just thoroughly enjoy Wingspan. It's one of my comfort games. Like if I just want to bust a game out that I already know, I don't have to touch the rule book. I already know how to set it up. I already know how to play. Just bust out Wingspan and be done in 45 minutes, and I'll just have a blast.
I
I
also
got a
do,
game like that on my list today.
I also do agree that under that comfort game thing, I do think it's one of the games that I've played it a few times. I don't think there's anything stressful in that game.
Yeah,
like every decision just feels
good
I'll
to
do
play.
that,
and food, and
I'll do that.
Everything feels
happy
useful
little
and
trees.
good. I don't feel like I'm getting screwed out of stuff or anything. It just feels
nobody
good to
forces
play.
a trade on you.
Right, and I take some.
Now, if
Steals
that
your
was
best location.
Robert Hooper.
I'm the massive minority here. I don't love the game very much, but the theme does nothing for me. And on top of that, if anything, it hurts it for me. And on top of that, I just find, unlike you, right, which is why, I just don't find the engine building in that game fulfilling.
I think it's because the scariest movie that Dan has ever seen is The Birds.
That's true. Dude, that phone booth scene, man.
Yeah, when they did that phone booth expansion.
Yeah.
They're like,
Memories.
I'm in a glass case of emotion.
That's so funny.
The bad man.
Okay.
Hey, no, Mike, nice pick, all right? Calm down.
Don't butter me up.
Listen.
Overrated.
Listen.
Whoa.
I'm gonna get curb stomped for one of my games on today's list.
Probably. Candyland.
Yeah, it won't be the only one. I'll get for multiples.
All right. My number 18. The biggest problem with this game
Uh-huh.
is some assembly required. And that's I hate that about games. But once you get past that,
Stickers.
Gorechosen is a knockdown, knock him out, drag him out, bloody good time. Yeah, dude. It's a Warhammer game, so like all the people come in the little plastic. What do they call those things?
Yeah, the sprues.
Yeah, so you got to cut the people out, assemble them, paint them if you're any good at that kind of a thing, or get
Pete.
yourself a
Pete.
Pete. But it is so much fun. It's got a really cool thing. Where, so it's a basic skirmish game. You're like gladiator style. You're thrown into a pit and you're fighting, and you have your cards. But the initiative deck is like a rage deck. So everybody, and depending on how angry you are with your rage, you have so many initiative cards in that deck. Deck gets shuffled. You start flipping cards, and that's whose turn it is. So the angrier you are, the more swinging you get to do. But if you do a huge attack, then your rage kind of drops because you let out some of that steam, and it's just a really neat way to like handle the who goes when and what kind of attacks you can do, but some of the people like they're all super unique. Like the guy with the claws is the guy in front. There's a guy with like a chain weapon. He hits like in a long straight line, and like it's just you can like knock people into the wall and like stick them up against it. You can cut their heads off. People can like when you're not get knocked out. You stand back up, make an attack, and fall back down again.
So even when you're dead, you still get to basically roll a die and have an action happen.
That's the one time that I played. I saw Tim died and then came back to life, beheaded Pete, and
fell like over again. It is
Yeah.
so cool. It's just have so much fun playing this game, and it only lasts like it's less than an hour, like 45 minutes of just hacking each other up and having fun with it.
Yeah,
so
it's
a good
really
time.
fun. It's really fun. Gorechosen so good.
I don't do skirmish games, and that game has an issue for me like Rebellion, to where like there's just one piece that just didn't work for me, right? And it's not like it ruins the whole game, but
Was it the facing?
or
the
facing, is that what you just said? Yeah,
Facing
it's
can be
just the
tricky.
fact that the game is so just thematic and so like out there, but then a lot of the movement and facing stuff feels like a programming game where your guy's just like walk, turn, walk, turn.
Welcome to
And
Games
like-
Workshop.
Yeah, so welcome to Games Workshop.
okay.
Yeah,
and like I just felt like that kind of was taking me out of it a bit. Like that my guy was like against the wall
Sure.
going,
Well,
and I'm just like, what are you doing?
and it's funny though because even a lot of the newer like Warhammer stuff, or even all of 40K, the bases went from square
To Hex?
to circular because they're now
Oh.
skirmish units, so they kind of have the facing.
Oh, the 360 facing.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
that makes
so-
sense.
because
but
they're
yeah.
not in like lined up formational.
Right.
That was the only thing for me. I enjoyed my time with it again, not as a huge skirmish gamer, and I just felt that part was like all this thematic stuff, and then this weird mechanical thing that just didn't.
yeah.
Feel
Well,
feel
just because
like
like if you have claws and all of a sudden somebody sees what's behind you, you're like, oh crap, because you can't really. attack
Sure,
behind
yeah.
you.
Again, it's not that it's you can't hit them because they're behind you. It's that then your guy goes. And it just feels weird.
Let's also
He
say
makes a
that
20-point turn.
Dan was playing his cards in a really weird order.
That's true.
He should have turned
Hey,
first.
it was my first time. It could have been
Well,
totally
and
just
the cards,
dumb.
I believe, if I remember correctly, it's like you can do X or Y, right? On like the cards. I thought the
think
cards
so,
had
yeah.
like some different things on them.
Yeah.
So.
You have options.
But yeah, no. Gorechosen is great. My number 18 is probably based on a series of books that I've read the most. And this is a game that I have made friends with and that I want to kill my friends with because A Game of Thrones is one of my favorite like area, control games. It is so good to the theme. You don't need to be aware of the books or the show or anything,
Storyline, right?
but if you do, it makes it
Adds
even
that extra-
It just is even better because it's like, now we're going. And I just have never had a bad time playing this game. The second edition, I strongly recommend it. Streamlines even Streamlines first edition kind of adds the expansions from the first edition just into that game. And I just have a fantastic time playing this game. I love trying out. I love it when people are like, "Oh, they suck. Like, don't be the Greyjoys." I'm like, "Give me the Greyjoys."
Yeah.
Like, let's rock and roll.
Well,
I'll
again,
show you how to play them.
I think once you have that much experience, and once you're that good at the game, it's almost your responsibility too to be like, not only like give it to me, but also like I'll show you how it's done. Like what you were just saying.
Yeah. No, 100%. Right? Because now, if I was playing with 3 people that have already played a bunch of times,
randomize it.
Let's rando pick, or you think you're hot stuff.
Yeah.
Pick your favorite one. Like let's dance.
Exactly.
Like, let's go. But no, I just have a great time. The way that everybody simultaneously assigns orders to all their units. Face down, and then you reveal them.
Yeah. Don't worry, I'm not marching with that. I'm just going to defend.
I just love it. There's a couple. There's like basically an end game timer. I think it goes up to 10 rounds maybe. The wildling track, right?
Okay.
As that moves. So there's that, but then there's also if somebody controls so many strongholds or castles.
7 points worth of castles or however that works. Yeah.
And this is just a super fun game that it always gets really tense. There's alliances, there's betrayals, this
is a fantastic once a year game for me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't play it a ton anymore, but when I do get to play it, I'm always very excited. And
I think if you play it more than once a year, you might not have any friends. That's all.
Thick skin, because you gotta there's gonna be some.
Oh yeah, you are going to hurt some feelings
if you want to win.
But yeah.
This was 47 for me.
But yeah, I love this game. It's a really good time if you like those kind of games. Like I'm not gonna get my my mother-in-law that loves Wingspan be like, "Oh, you're gonna love Game of Thrones." But if people like that kind of game already, and you just want like a really just awesome version of that, implementation of that, Game of Thrones is a very strong recommend.
Fantastic game. I cannot wait for Mike to play it again.
I need to play it again because I've only played it once. It's very punishing for new players. I got curb stomped as a new player.
Yeah, and you probably played with Caleb and Jesse, and not me.
I wasn't going to
name years ago.
Okay.
Before I met you guys.
Okay.
Look, now you name drop.
I got curb stomped.
They're sharks.
No, they are. And when we played, I made sure to not only make alliances with the new players. I was playing with the Greyjoys, but then I got the new players to fight the sharks for me.
I made sure to not only make alliance, that wasn't to benefit them. Ridiculous.
It helped them. They didn't have to worry about me.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. go get them. Yeah, get them. I'm just gonna watch your castle.
This is Game of Thrones. The person you worry about most is your ally.
Yes, true. Because the thing is my strongest ally, Justin, ended up winning the game, and it came down to me or him.
He was able to go around that edge of the board. I don't remember if he went up or down. But
he went down. He went down because I got him to fight Caleb. Right. Basically keep Caleb at bay. I made sure that I was still in the game.
Dude.
Okay. Yeah. It was
amazing.
good. It was
amazing game.
It was so good. I love the strategy there. The strategies are just chef's kiss.
My 18 was 17. Last
time.
So plummeting.
Yeah. Let's make that same joke.
Barely even worth mentioning anymore.
Play that same song. This is Robinson Crusoe, Adventures on a Cursed. I love difficult co-ops. I love the theme here. The components are fantastic. I actually have the collector's edition. I think I basically went all in. I don't.
Did you get all of that? Is that all arrived since?
No, it's like March or something.
Yeah. Portal games.
Yeah, it was pushed back like 6 months, and they're saying like March.
Did Ignacy design that? Is that his design?
That's an Ignacy game, yes. Yeah. Just a fantastic game where there's like, I don't know, I think in the base game there's 8 different scenarios, and then you can get other ones, and they all feel completely different. In all fairness, I've only played 2, but I've read through the other ones, right? And like your goals are different, your resources are different, the things that you're building, like what you start with, as in like hammers, guns, fire, bonfire stuff. They're all totally different. The map builds differently. I mean, it's insane the replay value in here. It also created the amazing card mechanic of as you're drawing these cards, cards are going to constantly, so basically this is like your time limit is like this card, but as you're going on adventures, other cards get put on top of that, right? But then you always go to the next round card, I'll call it, right? So let's say there's 10 round cards, you're playing for 10 rounds, and then you go on an adventure and it adds 3 cards on top. on your turn, at the end of the round, you draw the top card, do it, draw the next one, do it, draw the third one, do it, then draw the round card. You have to keep going until you hit a round card. And so if you like find a snake and then find bear tracks and then try to make a thing and all these cards are going on top, you know that before the next round card, you're going to have to interact with that snake, follow those tracks, right? And so you're prepared.
Or not follow those tracks.
Well, right. I'm just saying something will. All the cards have a top and a bottom, and so when you get the card, you just read the top. It'll say you find tracks leading away from your camp, and some of your food is missing. And then that's it. That card goes into the deck. And now you have to plan ahead and be like, okay, guys, we might want to work on some weapons because there's an animal that knows where we are and has been taking our food. And when that card comes back up, that animal might come back and you have to fight it. Or you might follow those tracks and find its den and you're able to take a bunch of stuff for it while it's gone. Or you might encounter its kids and then you kill the kids and then the parent comes back and stuff, right? Like those cards are this constant evolving story. There's just really interesting mechanic in there on top of everything else.
Also does the thing that I love is for your action markers, right? You basically have 2 discs. And then you can assign both of those discs to one task because you're spending all day doing it. Or you can divide yourself and get like medium
failure.
Well, yeah, basically
versions of that risk failure.
If you don't put both your guys on one spot, you have to roll dice and just see if you succeed. And the rolling dice is also how you encounter those other cards I was talking about. And they're also how you can get determination, which is a currency in the game and stuff. So basically, the way I describe it is each token is worth 12 hours. Do you want to spend 12 hours doing it or all 24 hours? If you do all 24 hours, it's guaranteed to succeed. But if you split your day thing and you want to do this and this, you're risking completing both. And it's a fantastic worker placement system. Yes.
Yeah, it's really neat. It's really neat. But, and really punishing. It's really hard to win at that.
It's very difficult. I've played the base scenario 14 times maybe, and I think I've won twice.
Sure. That sounds about
I've never
right.
played.
Yep. Fantastic game.
It's really, really difficult, really fun.
That's Robinson Crusoe Adventures of the Cursed Isle or Island. I can't remember the whole name.
My number 18. So, Mike, I thought you were a big fan of Stefan Feld games.
But you haven't mentioned any yet.
But I haven't mentioned a single one yet.
Oh, that's weird.
That's because they're all in my top 20.
What's weird is he's made 18 games.
So, we're finally going to get a Stefan Feld game on this list. I have played this 15 times, including probably at least 100 times online, and this is Trajan. Trajan is a really good and interesting game because it uses a Mancala system. So you start with 2 action cubes and 1 of 6 bowls that are arranged in a circle. You pick up the 2 action cubes and you're going to drop them counterclockwise. So you're going to drop 1, then you drop the second cube. Where you drop that cube, that's the action that you get to perform. So every different bowl is a completely different action.
So where you drop the last cube or any of them?
Yes, the last cube is where you're dropping.
Kind of like 5 Tribes.
Yeah, kind of like 5 Tribes. So yeah, very interesting kind of Mancala system. I like how you can plan several turns ahead in this game because you can just count how many cubes you have in each one of these bowls, and you're like, okay, well, I could do that on this turn, and then on the next turn I could do this, and so it's these kind of little mini games that all sort of come together to create this really, really interesting package, and I love the mechanics of this game and how it works. You got some guys that you're moving along. That's the military strategy, moving around and trying to pick up little goods. You have other guys that are trying to construct these buildings, and you get instant benefits from those. And you got a track that you're working across that gives you points every round. It's that Mancala system that really does it for me. I've just never seen another game. I know, I'm going to forget the game now.
Well, 5 Tribes, but yeah.
5 Tribes, yeah. There's Crusaders is another one that has a Mancala in it that I want to try out just because of how much I love Trajan. But
sorry, is it one Mancala board or does each person have their own individual?
Everyone has their own.
Okay, I was just wondering. It sounds interesting.
Nobody else can really fiddle with your stuff. Like, they can take things from you on the main board, but your Mancala is your Mancala, so you can really get that thing working in your favor and have 4 or 5 turns planned ahead, which is, I think, what makes this really interesting.
I like the sound of that. I've never played.
Neither.
Trajan, number 18.
Okay. Number 17. I think this was one of my favorite games from last year. Got the expansion, I believe, maybe this year. Lost Ruins of Arnak.
Hey-o.
Hey!
Great worker placement game with some deck building going on in there. I got the upgraded bits. I just upgraded the insert for it. They had a Kickstarter for the upgraded insert with they took the artwork and made it into an
insert?
acrylic kind of insert.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's super
well.
neat. What?
A well.
A well.
Just a well.
It's
Fantasy Flight.
throw it all in there. Yeah, that wasn't my fantasy play. No.
Thank you for your $100.
Kickstarter. Put all this art on a well. I don't know. Bad joke.
But no, it's great because it's like Indiana Jones, right? You're playing cards and you're exploring through the jungle to these temples, and they're unlocking all these different bits. But you also have this research track on the side that you're trying to go up, and you're going to earn some assistants to come help you, and you're getting more resources to try to get all the way up to the top of it to unlock more victory points. And it's just a great blend of
it's multi-use cards as well, right? Like you on the cards.
Yes, because you can discard them to move and stuff like that because they're like different types of movement.
Right,
like
they're
cars,
movement
fleets,
and
boots.
currency.
Yes,
That's right.
And they also have currency and stuff on them also.
Yeah,
or
I
abilities.
always like that. I believe that is one of the 4 things Dan likes in a game.
That's true.
well,
One of the 4 things.
Multi-use
No,
cards.
this is Spencer.
Oh,
Remember? Spencer's
Spencer
the multi-use cards is like his jam, baby.
I thought
Yeah.
that was just like dice with Celtic knots on it.
he likes
that's
at least 2
those
things.
yeah.
I really like those games where, hey, just do as much stuff as you can until you have to stop. You know,
sure.
and you can just kind of keep
Kinda
extending
keep
your
doing
turn
turn,
as much
yeah.
as you can. And I like how it builds from round to round.
Dan likes doing that.
We're really pushing.
I
that
also
forward.
like this game a lot. You may find out how much in a little bit.
Ooh.
Great game.
It's fine.
I played it once. It was fine.
Yep, it's fine.
These
No,
guys,
There's no Dune Imperium.
these guys
I
like
didn't say
during
that.
Also played it
Imperium
once. It's
more.
fun.
You were thinking it.
I do not value
like this cat.
one over the other.
Reads minds.
That's right.
All right, my number 17 has already been talked about, but it is my favorite Wolfgang Warsch game.
What?
That is Taverns of Tiefenthal.
Nice.
Because Bob,
Yeah.
do you like drafting dice in a game?
I do.
You like deck building?
Yeah.
Do you like wood dice?
Do you like
No.
Oh, crap. Wow, I ruined it.
I mean, do you like modular player boards?
I do.
Yeah, I mean, the Taverns
good.
Taverns does all
It's
this
very
stuff. Dan's right. You can. I just play with all the modules. You can. You can.
There's a couple I pull out for newer
Maybe
players.
take the letters out.
Yeah.
For that one's
Yeah,
the
the
complicated
guest book is
one.
the most complicated
Guest
one.
book is
what it
But
is.
once I started playing with the guest book, I'd never
Now
play
it just
without
goes.
it.
Yep.
I just like it. But yeah, I love everything about this game. It's Quacks is great. I love Quacks, but Taverns I think is always going to have a special place in my heart.
Yeah. I feel like Quacks is more dumb fun, whereas Taverns is a little more
for
strategic
sure.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Taverns, you were definitely more in control of your own fate with
Yeah.
Taverns, right? But yeah, it's just great. I love all the things that it does. Is there an expansion for Taverns? Wasn't there an expansion coming?
I think your sister's got it, but it's only in Europe right now.
Yeah,
It's not over here
So
yet.
I'm still waiting for that expansion to Taverns.
to
Yet
talk-
we've gotten like 3 Quacks expansions.
Yeah, I need
that-
to talk to my
Is that
English
Open
friends.
Doors? Is that what it's called? Or is Open Doors just the modules that are already included in the version that we have?
I don't remember.
No.
I never looked at the name of the
Yeah,
modules.
it's something
I'm just
in
like,
German.
oh, we need all this here.
Okay.
But anyways,
Yeah.
I just absolutely love Taverns of Tiefenthal. Everything Dan said, plus stuff
You
I
mean
said.
Checks out.
You mean this game was made in Germany? I never would have guessed that,
Yeah,
being
right.
designed by a guy named Wolfgang.
Wolfgang. Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
he
it
wasn't a member of Van Halen. Okay, yeah. So Taverns of Tiefenthal is my number 17.
My number.
Well, counts.
Go on.
He plays with them now.
Yeah, you're right. He does. He's really good too.
17.
He's had a Van Halen.
I've only played twice, but boy, is it just a fantastic, fantastic experience by Gale Force 9. That is Dune.
Straight up Dune.
Yep, just straight up Dune. It is a giant political area control fighting game. It's just, there's so much. I don't know what to say.
I think you would be more like thirsty than out of breath
Yeah.
with that one.
No, I just don't know. There's so much to say, but basically everyone has, you play the different factions, right? And everyone has insanely asymmetric abilities. And you're fighting over control of Dune. Everyone has their own win condition. There is a base, not everyone, sorry. There's a base win condition, and then like 3 of the factions have their own that overrides
Yeah,
that
the
condition.
Bene Gesserit's my favorite one.
Yeah, so the Bene Gesserit, right, is the example I like giving. So they have a couple things. One thing is at the beginning of the game, they guess who's going to win and on what round. And if they're right, they win instead.
It's not guessing. They need to make that happen.
Well, sure. Well, it's guessing. But then the thing is, then one of their other powers is they have advisors, where they're the only unit in the game that can be on the same space as other people and not have to fight. And that is because only 2 units can be on a space at the same time, even if they're not fighting, like the Bene Gesserit. So by going on their location, they are making it to where you cannot fight there. They are your advisors. They're just trying to be political, right? But at any time, they can flip, and now you're fighting them, right? And so basically, Bene Gesserit's trying to control the combat flow in order to make sure the person they want to win wins without making it too obvious, right? And then the third thing they can do is they have the voice. During combat, you have a secret leader, you have a secret dial number, you have all this stuff. Basically, when you're fighting the Bene Gesserit, or if you're in an alliance with the Bene Gesserit, the Bene Gesserit can just say, name something, or no, do a certain thing.
You're
like
right.
They just tell you what to do, and you have to follow it if you're possible. So they can say, bring a ranged weapon. And you just have to, because they have the voice. They basically are Jedi, right? And they mind control you. Atreides has prescience, right? So they literally, there's a blind bidding thing that goes on. Atreides gets to look at every card before it's blind bid on, and so they can bribe you. You're gonna be like, hey, Mike, do you want to know the card that's coming up? Give me some spice. I'll tell you the card.
No,
that's
that's
coming
my
up.
spice.
Spice must flow,
It must
Mike.
flow.
Spice must flow.
It is just a fantastic, fantastic thematic game. I loved every second of playing it. It is a monster to teach. It's one of the games, actually, that both times that I played it, I kind of sent out player aids to the players ahead of time, and I was like, hey, you're going to be Bene Gesserit, right? Here's the basics you need to know. You're going to be Atreides, right? Here's the basics you need to know, because it's just, if you were blind teaching that to 5 people on the day, it would take an hour to teach.
You just need to know, learn your faction.
You need to know,
know your role.
basic mechanics that you're gonna do, just like any game,
which
and
aren't
then
that bad.
What is the idea behind your asymmetric abilities? Other than that, we'll figure stuff out on the day. It's fine, But yes, anyway, Dune by Gale Force 9, an amazing game. I cannot wait to play it with this group, because most of this group still hasn't played it yet.
Yeah,
So-
I played once a while ago, and the reason it's not on my top 50 is only because I haven't played it.
Sure, and you
no.
also, not that it
And
matters
I've got
at all.
the Rex.
But yes, you played the first edition of it as well.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I played
not
an
that
old
it matters,
edition, and then
fairly different.
I think it's streamlined a bit and tightened up. But then I also have Rex, which is the Twilight Imperium version of Dune.
Yeah,
So
which I would love to play, because I like that universe too.
yeah,
Right?
let's play that.
That's me.
Okay, my number 17. I got a couple small box games coming up. I just played this game for the first time this year, and I have already played this game 15 times, and that is because I love Long Shot, the dice game. I absolutely love this game. I had played Camel Up before, and I'm like, okay, this is kind of cool, but Long Shot is what I wanted a betting on horses race game to be. It does what I wanted it to do. It supports up to 8. You can play it in 20 to 40 minutes, and it feels strategic. I mean, this is a roll and write with a little bit of crunch going on. You're going to roll a D8. That's going to move one of 8 horses, but then there's a drag mechanic. Every horse on that rolled horse is anyone that's been marked off, it's going to drag some horses with it. So there's actions where you can mark off more horses, and every time that horse is rolled, it drags more horses with it. So you're trying to buy these horses and, of course, get them to win because you get money that way. But one of the other big ways to win this game, you don't have to own the horse that wins. You just got to bet on the right horse. I mean, if the 8 horse wins, because it's the long shot, the odds are the worst. So therefore, the payouts are the highest. If you get a $15 bet on the 8 horse and it wins, you're probably going to win, but that 8 horse is not going to win very often, so you probably had something to do with making that 8 win. I really like this game. I like that it plays up to 8. It's pretty easy to teach. It plays quick, and it's just fulfilling for what it does in that quick package. There's also a ton of replayability. I bought the one of the promo packs that they were selling at Gen Con when I got this game, and so I've got 6 variations of horses. Like there's 6 different things
different abilities.
you can make every horse do. Every horse has its own ability, and there's 6 sets of them I can play with, and each set plays totally different. And there's some of them where you can mix and match. It says like, hey, add a couple of these to your next game. Don't use all of them, but use add a couple of these to mix and match your sets and stuff. And I think it has good replayability. I like the interaction between players. I'm just a big fan of this game.
Cool.
Played it once. It was fine. I mean,
I don't like these kind of games usually. It was fine. We tried it at Origins.
Yeah,
I think,
Origins.
right? And yeah, it was
I
good.
think Jason had it, and I played with him and Katie. You and I played with him and Katie.
Yes.
I think Bob had it in his 30s, maybe. He had it on his list.
There was on my list somewhere in there. Let's see here.
20s or 30s.
It was in my 30s.
Yeah, see, I remember these things. So my taste isn't terrible.
Well,
It's not, unfortunately. So, my next game.
Ooh, ouch.
Only game I've ranked a 10 on our show.
You have rookie numbers. You got to pump those up.
and it's this low.
I have.
How can you like the other games more?
The only game you've ever ranked a 10 is your number 16
Before he
game
even
of the time.
says the name of the game, I think I know what it is.
Oh,
and I
wait.
have it ranked higher.
Does it start with an S?
It does.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Smartphone Inc.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's so good. Dual layer player boards.
Great game.
Action crafting.
You
Like,
could just say dual layer
dual layer.
because it's not just the player boards.
Everything is
The
everything.
entire
The whole
board.
thing. The whole board. The whole
Oh, yeah, this is my
board.
46. I already talked about
Dual
this.
layered. Yeah, we already talked about it. It's a great game, though. I love with some of the expansions. You have like different types of text that you can unlock and everything. I love how you have to literally pay attention to your logistics to make sure you can get into different marketplaces to be able to sell your phones to different marketplaces. I love the gaming against the other players where you're like, do I set my price high or low? Do I think Tim's going to try to like flood the market with cheap phones? Or can I just get a couple of specialty phones that make them really expensive and like make more money on my 3 phones I sell than he does on his 6? Like, just a lot going on there. And the action crafting,
Trademark Julia Olmstead.
That's right. I owe her $5 every time I say that. It's just a fantastic system, and then especially once you unlock the 4G and you can start like getting these tiles and like laying them off the side and having more things going on. Oh my gosh, it's so good.
That tablet planning system is truly genius.
It is.
It's really, really
see
cool.
how he phrased it so he didn't have to pay?
Yeah, that's what I got.
I absolutely love this game, and in fact, I love it so much you're gonna have to wait a week for me to talk about it.
Hey, not me.
Yeah,
Yeah, I love this game. It's a great game.
it is a great game.
It is a very well made game.
The Dan's not very good at it.
I think my number 16. I might be the only one at the table that's played this.
Oh, nice.
I'm a sports fan, right?
Oh, wow.
Mike's a sports fan. There's not a ton of great games based like on sports, in my opinion. One? Nope, not rolling any dice. But this one, it is America's Pastime. Baseball highlights,
Oh,
2045.
Wow.
I
forgot
absolutely
you liked
love,
that so
I love this game. I play this game solo. I play on the app. I will get out my physical copy and play this game. I only have the base game. Like, I would love to get all the other stuff, but it's an Eagle Griffin game, so it's not always cheap to get. You know, it's not hard to get. It's just if
They're well made.
It's hard to want to spend that money on packs of cards. But I love sort of the rock paper scissors aspect of some guys are good against like androids or cyborg or robots or cyborgs, and then there's human players. But then you're also like you're playing your runner, but then that card is going to be your defense. You know, like you're playing a defense, but that's also going to be your hit on the next turn. So like the way those mechanics work and everything is really interesting. And then the way that you do your free agent market after that, I think is really neat because then you're buying cards based on the cards that you played. And some cards that are very powerful don't have a very good currency rating later, right? So you kind of are having to gauge like when you're going to spend.
Right
so there's
balance.
strategy there with like building your team as well. But I just find this to be a very satisfying game every time I play it. I just love the intricacies of it. And then there's always like the Easter eggs hidden in the names, so they won't do like a Babe Ruth, but they might do like Mark Ruth, and then there might be a Babe McGuire, you know what I mean? Or
sure.
Things like that. So if you're familiar with like the classic, like, Hall of Fame baseball players, or should be in Hall of Fame baseball players, and I even hate Mark McGuire, but he should be there.
Sure.
But anyways, if you recognize the names, there's fun little Easter eggs in there as well.
Only if Sammy joins them.
Yeah, hey, Sammy.
I was a
Sammy
fan
needs
of
to be in there.
Pujols myself.
Yeah, you would be. But he'll get in. He's just not eligible yet.
Oh, he's guaranteed to get in.
Yeah, he's a lock. But anyways, I love Baseball Highlights 2045. I think it's a great game and have a fantastic time with it. But
I love this theme, and I did play it a couple times at Origins a few years ago. And as somebody that like played baseball the majority of my life, it didn't totally capture the feeling of playing baseball. Like it had some of the mechanics, and I kind of like how you're
it's like
doing this
Ghost Runners,
head-to-head.
dude. It's like playing baseball as a kid.
Yeah, there's something. I mean, I liked it. It didn't quite capture baseball for me, but I think it's a cool game.
Yeah.
Meh. Hi, what number?
He doesn't like sports, so his opinion is
Sports ball.
invalid.
My 16 is baseball highlight. What's it called?
What?
Yeah, right. That game I've never played. My 16, guys, was 26 last time, and I honestly
skyrocketed.
Right. That drop is negligible. But I will say the reason I think it went up even just a tiny bit is just because I want to play it again. Like, so it just kept kind of bumping up. And that's by Project Raygun. And it's Court of the Dead, Mourner's Call. I literally was talking to them.
There's a copy out there.
I was literally talking to them earlier today, and I was like, oh, like, because someone was going to buy it. And I was like, you should get it. It was just in my top 50 in like the 30s or something.
Oh, right.
I must have gotten mixed up with something else. It's 16. Hadn't mentioned it yet.
It's 16.
It's a fantastic thematic
it's
area majority game with some card drafting, some I don't know if you call it set collection in there, but because you're collecting these cards, and I know that you're building off of the different factions, and so building different factions will get you. So like you're set collecting the factions, not necessarily sets.
And it's also like some area majority, because you need to have the majority of influence in the
Well, area majority is how you get the actions on the board and stuff too, so that's a big part of it. It's a beautiful game where you are you're going there's factions basically in hell.
Yeah.
And it looks like you're playing on like the River Styx. It's a beautiful holographic board.
So cool. Great art.
And it's just such a cool thematic game with fantastic components. The production quality here is insane. It's kind of expensive, but when you open that box, you see it's worth every penny.
Oh my gosh.
It's worth every penny you spend on that game.
Yep.
And yeah, I don't know if I'm the only person that's going to have this on my list.
I'll talk about it later.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Look at
yeah.
that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really happy to hear that because I just loved this game so much. So yeah, Court of the Dead, Mourner's Call. I don't know. Check it out sometime. It's not very well known.
It's criminally unknown.
Yeah.
Like this is definitely like if
I think people see that big box. It's kind of intimidating. It looks expensive. They're just kind of like, and they just kind of pass.
Well, it also has art direction stuff that is not for the masses, right?
I mean, it's almost like that Franchetti art, like that old D&D. Like it's that high fantasy.
Sure, but like dark.
But
like
dark.
Everything is like ripped out hearts and like. Luckily, it's like green blood though, so it doesn't really matter.
It's really cool. I love
it.
Bob's like, "What's green?"
Yeah.
Oh God.
It's like you're like, oh, he's like, that turn machine looks gray. I said, or it could just be gray.
My number 16. This is my favorite deck building game. That's just deck building game. That doesn't have other things
involved.
going on.
Sure.
I've already played this game 21 times. The last time I played it, Tim thumped me.
You're welcome.
This is Shards of Infinity.
Yeah.
I love Shards of Infinity, man.
Yeah.
I love what this game does for a simple rule set and a quick play time. Again, I can get in and out and play a whole game of Shards of Infinity, 2 players in like 20 minutes.
Yep.
And this is like a battle royale deck builder. And I just can't believe like nobody else thought of this idea before. Like a battle royale deck builder? Like, yeah, you are really just trying to eliminate the other players at the table. And I really, really enjoy this game. I think it has awesome combos. All of the decks and different strategies feel viable. I mean, there's one that you can go heavy on damage. You can go heavy on healing. You got the faction that'll draw a bunch of cards. And then, of course, the one Tim beat me with, which I'm shocked he was able to pull this off so quickly, is the mastery strategy. And one of your dials is for health. The other dial is for mastery. And You can move up your mastery. It maxes at 30. Your mastery makes certain cards in your deck better. So the higher your mastery is, the more powerful certain cards are. But there's one particular card in everybody's deck. It's a starter card. If your mastery is at 30, it's an insta-kill.
You do infinity damage.
So it doesn't matter how good your healing is. If you have that, if you have that infinity shard, bam, you dead. Sorry. But
Thanos.
I just
gauntlet.
really, really enjoy Shards of Infinity. I've played it a lot.
Man, I love that
game. And I am a big, big fan.
You know, Mike, I thoroughly enjoy this game. I play it every once in a while. I'm just like, let's play that. That's a good game. I played with Jesse just a couple weeks ago at a game night, just like 1v1. We had a great time. Doesn't appear in my top 50, and I genuinely don't know why. It's a really good game.
It's a really good game.
It just doesn't stick with me for some reason, but every time I play it, I'm just like, man, this is great.
I think what happens sometimes, and I've seen other people, not just us, do this, and I think what happens is, oh, this is a quick game in a small box. I shouldn't rate it that high.
I guess so.
Maybe. I think for me,
that's
it
not
was
exactly
almost
true
just
for
like
me,
forgetting
but-
about it. But
I think it's a common thing that
You don't
happens.
see it. You don't think about it.
I mean, I own it.
That's
but
there's that, but I think it's a common thing that happens with a lot of YouTubers is, well, this is a simple game that's cheap and comes in this small box, so it can't be better than Trajan. Well, yeah, it's really, really good.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of fun to play. So, 2 small boxes in my top 20.
What does your encyclopedia say, Tim?
I'm looking.
I'm talking about your small boxes, and I'm looking at my top 20 games, and like 60-70% of them are large box games.
Yeah, no,
boxes
it's
that weigh
true.
25 pounds.
I
apiece.
definitely have a couple really small box of games coming up still.
Awesome. Good.
I've got a couple small ones, but mostly large. Speaking of,
Speaking
my number 15. So the base game of this, it's based on a game that is, like people say, evergreen. I don't really like to play it. This is the best implementation of it by far. Catan Starfarers.
Oh, yeah.
It is the best version of Catan. It's Catan enough. The people that like Catan will see familiar things and like it, but it's not Catan enough. The people that don't care for Catan will still enjoy it. You're still rolling dice. You're collecting resources depending on where you have space stations built on, but you're also getting some resources no matter what at the beginning to kind of help get you going. You have a mothership that you can put upgrades on, and that will affect all of your other ships and stuff that you're doing on the board. You're exploring and flipping over all these different numbers on planets. You are sending satellites to do trade missions with the different alien species that are out there. But then it also adds encounters, which are, I just mentioned earlier, choose your own adventure encounters, and they're fantastic. So it's like, oh, I flip my spaceship over to see how much movement I get. Oh, I have a black ball in there. That means I get an encounter. And it's like, oh, you encounter pirates. Do you attack them or flee? And it's like, well, I've got like a bunch of speed on my guy. I'm just trying to run out of here. And like, yeah, you just get to choose your own adventure and try to figure out how you're way. Oh, you find a merchant. What will you give him? I'm going to give him 3 goods. Turns out he was a prince. He likes what you give him. Getting this instead. And it's like so many cool different things that you do with the encounters. And like, it's just fantastic. If you like Catan, check out Starfarers. It's a much better version of it. If you don't like Catan, check it out because it's not Catan-y so much that
maybe
you're
watch
not
a playthrough or something.
Yeah, it's so good. They have
Don't
a 5
watch our old review of it because that was like an old format and we're way better now.
We should probably redo
watch
that.
it. Yeah, we should. We should revisit it.
But they have like the old version, which we have up there, and like the ships weren't great, but they have a new one out now where the ships are sturdier, they don't fall apart as much. There's a 5 to 6 player expansion.
There's a difference when you're looking it up versus Starfarers of Catan is the old one, and
then
Catan Starfarers is the new one.
Yeah, it's in a bigger box, so like there's more room for everything.
And it's in Bob and I's both of our top 50s because I talked about it last week.
Yeah.
So like,
it's fantastic.
right, that's at least 2 very strong recommends.
Yeah, yeah.
And
It
Dan
didn't make my top 50, but compared to the other Catans, it's a 10 out of 10. It's amazing.
Yeah.
As far as an individual game, it's a really good game. It didn't make it up this high, but I mean, it's got good catch-up mechanics in it. The way the exploration works with the map development is way more interesting than normal Catan. Although it's the same system, the way the exploration works into it is interesting. The encounter's fantastic. Literally upgrading your spaceship with little pieces you're plugging into it.
It's almost like Lego because it's a ship. You're like literally attaching things to your ship.
It's so cool and tactile. Fantastic game.
Yep.
I got a couple things. This game is in my top 10 games I hate because I haven't played it, and these guys keep talking.
What?
Because these guys keep talking about it. Now I really want to play it.
I'm going back to my Mike Best playlist.
Yes. Also, I had to write something down. We have our first Bobism of the day. I don't know if you caught that.
what was
we
it?
just got Catani.
Oh, Kentucky.
He said it really quick.
I didn't even notice.
He said it really quick, so I had to he did. I'll write that down.
Slid that in there.
We'll go through all the Bob-isms at the end.
That's funny.
All right. So my number 15 is a game that has ruined my life.
Good.
It is a game
Married.
that not only
I'm playing. Kelly's great.
oh boy,
That's funny.
this is a game that makes it very difficult not to back every single one of their Kickstarters.
Kids?
This is a game that introduced me to a lifelong friend and arch nemesis. This game is Lords of Hellas. Lords of Hellas.
Okay.
It is, if you've heard us talk about the show, this is a game how Dan and I met and became friends. This is the first Awakened Realms game that I backed and then played. And it was so good that like every other Awakened Realms game that comes out, if I don't back, I at least like
Hope
agonize.
somebody in the room.
Yeah, and agonize over not backing it, right? I'm not saying that they're all the best game ever, but this game was so
Very
good that it made it very hard to not at least like look at what they're doing.
Well, and not just Awakened Realms, but also it's like I have 2 tabs open, right? I keep an eye on everything Awakened Realms.
Oh, and now GameFound.
And everything Adam Kopinski does.
Oh, Kopinski,
right?
sure.
Like I keep an eye on both of those because they've both just been great. Yes, not everything from either has been a 10 out of 10 home run, but they've got secret powers, and I keep an eye on them.
Yeah, so
watching.
Lords of Hellas is multiple paths of victory. It is like cyberpunk Greek mythology.
Yeah.
And you've got a player board and you're marking off, you're covering up basically one of the actions you can take. And there's an action you can take that will clear your player board. And so there's territory control on the map. But again, multiple paths of victory. So maybe you're going to achieve victory by defeating the most beasts, right? Enough of the beasts to trigger the end game. Controlling enough temples, right? Controlling a monument that's fully completed. The way that you build the monuments on the board is
So cool.
such a fantastic thing because not only just does it give this game an amazing table presence, but thematically, right?
Yep.
Like you feel like you're progressing through time in this game as these structures are being erected, right? And they're built. The only crime in this game is that you're not going to have all 3 monuments built at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you could, but the game would take like 3.5 hours.
Epic looking landscape. Yeah. But I just love the idea of this game because I feel like to me, it's almost like the rise of civilizations, right? And it just, also, right, like, first, buy this game. Second, spend the money and get the terrain pack. Because the terrain upgrade pack, normally I would say, you know what, like, if you can get the deluxe edition, please do. You know, if you can, you'll like it. But it's not necessary. The terrain upgrade pack makes this game so much better. Not just visually and like, oh, it feels really cool because it looks nice. But it actually helps you. We have complained about games like War of Whispers. You know, without the deluxe edition, it's sometimes stuff on that board can get covered buried. Up, and you can't see like that there's a city there or a temple there. So to have the upgrade pack there, you know, the terrain upgrade, you actually have these really nice physical representations of the location.
Right.
And
makes it way easier.
And like the city, you put one of your units in there to hold it, you know, so it shows that it's occupied. Because you also have to remember that it costs you a movement to pull that guy out of that city, not just that territory. So it's also a very good like physical reminder that that's going to cost you an extra
otherwise,
movement
without the 3D pack, you have to realize I'm marching my guys out of here. Crap, did I leave a guy in that building last time? Because if I did, okay, then I have more defense. And if I didn't, then I have more movement. Which one did I do?
Yeah.
And so with the 3D building, nope, he's locked in place.
I just think it's fantastic that as you're building the monuments, it's like the more and more you're building, the stronger the monument's getting. Like the gods are more and more pleased with what you're doing, so they're giving you more of a boon as you continue to.
So you get more benefits when you have priests there. Yeah,
when you pray to the god, you get more benefits because they are more pleased with it.
I really like that.
I love this game.
I need to play it more.
Actually, I should say, so this is the first game I played with Dan ever. And I believe it's the first game I ever played with Mike as well.
This is also the first game I ever played. I know he's not like as in this, but oh God, I can't remember his name. It's literally been so long since I met him. He's part of Meeple.
Who was with me when we played
Todd?
that?
No, he's part of Meeple. And he wears glasses. He's like a tiny guy.
forget who was with me. James?
Oh my God.
Was James
yes,
with me?
James.
James.
Jesus,
Oh, yeah,
I am so
James.
sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, James, his girlfriend, you and I.
Oh, Charlie.
were
Yeah.
the ones that played that. And so that was the first time. And that was
Okay.
the start of our branch of Meeple, basically. Too.
And so actually it gave me 2 enemies and lifelong friends because Mike as well. Even though Mike and I had chatted a lot before we had gotten together and played, but that was the first game that I've played with both of you on different occasions.
The time that we played at Spencer's was the first time you had played with Mike?
First time I met Mike in person.
Wow, that's
IRL.
cool. Okay.
Well, I came to a Meeple meetup and
Tim
I'm
doesn't
like,
go to
oh,
those.
hey, nice to meet you, Tim, but we didn't get to play any games
Right.
together.
Yeah, and it barely counts. To me, it's like, we met, but
Yeah.
like to really meet and kind of like.
But
know
then
each
I
other.
was like,
the board.
yeah, but then I was like, hey, Tim, that Meeple thing hasn't met up in a while. You got a group, man? You got a group? I need a group, bruh. But yeah, this game's amazing. I love the tension at the end game when multiple people are working on more than one end game at the same time, and everybody's right there, and then one person finishes the end game, and then 3 people go, oh, I was so close.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I was so close to like 2 end games at once.
Yeah.
I really like
you also have that
tension.
thing that happens where you were just saying where like 3 people are working on this end game and super close, and then you see, hold on. Tim only 1 territory away from winning.
Shut up,
Everyone,
shut up.
run away from the monument. Stop Tim. Like,
Shut up.
yeah, the 3 paths to victory feel very good.
Yeah, I really like that aspect of the game.
I mean, I only got to play it that one time. I still ranked it at number 32. I backed Lords of Ragnarok the
cannot
very
wait
next
for
day.
Ragnarok.
I know.
Yeah, I got it
but even just that one play, like I think Jesse won by defeating monsters, which I heard was one of the more difficult ways to win. But that's how he won. Meanwhile, I'm like 1 step away from completing monuments or controlling 5 territories. Meanwhile, 2 other people have 2 different end games
I was
going.
1 away from the monsters and 1 away from the monuments.
From
as
my
well.
experience,
So,
the order of most likely to win is monuments, territory, monsters. From my experience.
yeah,
Cool.
I don't think
Really
you're that far
good
off,
game.
That was
Okay.
our Lords of Hellas hour.
Yeah, no
dude.
doubt.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
sorry,
good.
I had a game in my list that nobody likes.
Yeah, you made up for
done, and
the
then
rest of
move
your
on.
list.
Well, it's funny though because Dan and I have got like a bunch of crossover in this, but where we're different, we're going to be way different.
Right, because
So-
good game. So we're on 15.
Uh-huh.
My 15. Recently, I talked about the Search for Planet X. Loved it. I love deduction games. I love really thinky games. I keep forgetting the number. 15.
Yeah.
And my 15.
Code names?
My 15's right here.
Nice.
Hello, Turing Machine. This game blew my mind with the type of deduction it is. This interesting mathing of the numbers and you're asking a computer, which is programmed questions, you are giving it 3-digit codes and seeing what answer it spits out so that you can use that to track the questions you've asked and slowly deduce what the correct code is. So I'll say I'll set up 1, 2, 3 is my code. And I'll put it in the question that says, is the middle number bigger or smaller than or is the middle number bigger than the next number, right? And so I'll put that into the code, and I'll get an X on my punch-out card, and that tells me, okay, well, I did 2, which is smaller than 3, so since I got an X, I know that the middle number is not smaller than the third number. And you're slowly putting those pieces together to deduce what the third number is, and then it has like a clue aspect to it, right, to where you can guess in between rounds, but if you guess and you're wrong, you're out, right? And basically, it's whoever gets the correct thing first. This is, or in the least amount of questions. This is an amazing deduction game. The other day, actually, I got my mom and my brother to sit down and play this, and I said I won't play. Not only will it be maybe slightly unfair because I know how all the questions work and blah, blah, blah. But also, I just, in my family, I tend to be really good at deduction. That's part of why I like it so much. And figuring this out. And so I just sat out and I just teached, and I was able to answer all their questions right. I sat and they were like, so I put this code in, I got this. Does that mean this? And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like helping them through it. And they said they both thoroughly enjoyed the game, had a fantastic time with it. It is a bit... it's so simple, and yet it is a bit crunchy. You're going to feel that math type of deduction that you're trying to do.
This lid is
It's a
on,
multiplayer
I
solo
know.
game.
I was waiting for someone to notice.
Yeah, keep going though.
But that's it. Turing Machine by Scorpion Mask. I was blown away when it was funny because we had a lot of people interested with this at Gen Con. I think you were one, right? And Spencer was one. And a lot of people were talking about this game. I had never heard of it. And now we brought it back, and I'm the one that won't shut up about it.
Tell us about it.
I know. So yeah. Anyway, If you like deduction, check out Turing Machine. My only negative is it does feel kind of solo. Everyone is solving their own problems. There's not really
just
a lot
have to
of
solve it first,
interactions.
right?
Yeah.
Yep.
I wish there was slightly more. As a matter of fact, Bob, I didn't know this. When I was teaching the other day, on the back of the rulebook, it says for a cooperative variant, go to our website.
Whoa.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to trying that.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
The one thing I like to bring up about this and Gen Con is when we filmed our Gen Con preview video, like we were just going to skip over Scorpion Mask. I'm like, hold on, they're coming out with a game. And then now Dan loves it. So I am just happy that I was the one that uncovered.
It's the only reason I still hang out with you.
Well, I did that.
Your one saving grace.
So my number 15. Hey, Mike, I heard you were a fan of Stefan Feld
Are
games.
you asking yourself
But I've been watching your top 50 and I
You've only
haven't
had
seen
one.
any. Well, here's number 2. Go ahead, Tim.
Bora Bora.
Thank you. Yeah. He's finally
Boring,
right.
I'm out.
I've had this game for a long time. I've played this 24 times. And it is still really amazing to me. So we had already gotten down, to our top 21 and we were setting up to film this. So Thursday, I'm like, I'm going to take my top 20 games. I'm going to redo them. I'm going to re-rank them and just see what happens. And I just played this game last week and it moved up 8 spots for me. And I've had this game for like almost 10 years now. And it's just that good. Bora Bora is a dice placement game. And I don't know if you want to call it worker placement or action selection. I struggle with, people want to be critical about which one's which.
Whatever.
Usually worker placement can be blocked, and the dice placement you can put wherever you want on your own board.
Yes, but at the same time, we just played Wayfarers of South Tigris, and you can put multiple workers in one spot. So does that still make it a worker
It is still
placement
blocked
game?
eventually, but
Yeah,
like,
and again, all the dice placement is
they're
on your own player
communal,
board.
Correct. The worker placement is communal, whereas the dice placement is.
So I'd call this a worker placement game then, because it's got 6 locations that you can put your dice. Now, there is blocking, but other people can still go there. And I think this is one of the coolest mechanics
And
I've
it's not
seen
blocking.
in a dice placement. Well, it is, because if I put a 2, you can't put any die there that is equal to or higher.
Or higher, okay.
So you can, if I put a 2 there, that's an extremely mean move. That means you can only put a 1.
Right.
Unless you use a God card, which breaks some of the rules of the game.
Sure.
But this game has an incredible mix of short-term tactics with long-term strategy, because every round you get the opportunity to complete a task tile. You start with one random one, but each round, the round ends, you get this task tile you got to complete. If you complete it, you get 6 points. At the end of the game, if you complete a task every round, you're going to get bonus points. But at the end of each round, you get to draft another task. So while you're working on one task, you're also looking at the available tasks for the end of the round and trying to figure out, well, which one of these can I work myself towards for the next few rounds? You're always working towards multiple tasks at once in this very tight dice placement system, which, again, if I put a 1 down, sorry, you can't even use that spot. I put my 1 down unless you've got a God card. And there's just multiple paths to victory. Even if you get blocked, there's other ways around it. You can still accomplish what you want to do. It's a bit of a point salad. You're always kind of scoring points, but it's a very good, interactive, tight. You're paying attention to what other players are doing, which in a lot of games like this you're not. But in this game you have to, because you got to realize if the spot you want is going to get blocked or not. You got to find out a different way to complete that task.
Sure.
So I thoroughly love this game. I've been playing it for years. I still like it. It's still crunchy. It's still a little mean, and it is still very, very good. That's Bora Bora by Stefan Feld.
I've never played this game. I joke all the time that it's terrible and I hate it. I will say the mechanics you explained, I have played games that do similar things, like, not all of it, right? But like, I've seen this mechanic before, I've seen this mechanic before. I like them. I think that sounds really interesting.
Yeah, this sounds really appealing. I knew nothing about the
it's
game.
hideous. But
other than the box cover.
Really? Bora Bora I think is okay. It's
got
more
nice
colorful
colors.
than all
It's
his
got-
other games.
I just mean I
Yeah,
don't
it's a
like
low
the
bar.
box cover. I've never seen this.
Oh yeah, the
I've never
box
seen the
cover is
setup.
colorful, but not not a
Looks like
looker.
Puerto
It's hidden
Rico.
now, but it used to be over there.
Well, it's
Hey,
blue.
settle
It used to be
But
back
yeah,
here.
it has that cutout thing, yes.
All right, number 14. So Julia Kahn, I learned a lot of games. Chris and Darcy. Right? Fantastic people, great friends. Always introduce me to some of the coolest,
Calm
newest.
down. I'm just kidding. They're awesome.
Coolest, newest games. And they're great teachers. Chris taught me Beyond the Sun.
Oh,
and it is
wow.
a fantastic game. Everybody's playing a corporation. You've got this big board, and it's full of like discs and whatnot. The main board is basically just tech tree. It's a tech tree, the game. And you also have a space board. There's a bunch of dice, but you don't roll them. They're just used for marking your resources and whatnot and the strength of your ships. You're taking actions by trying to research the different things on the tech tree. You're also building ships and trying to explore planets and colonize them. And it's just a fantastic game. I don't remember the guy who designed it, but it's the only game he's designed, and it's great.
We talked a lot about it in our review. This game was very satisfying. Yeah. Like when I played it, the one time I did play it, I really was impressed with it. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I'd love to play it again. It can be kind of hard to find because I don't think I got a very large printing. But if you can find it, it's fantastic. If you like tech tree type stuff, and like it all kind of makes sense too, right? Where depending on what type of tech is, like a military tech or a science tech or like a like a food tech, and you like turn people into food or like turn your robots into people who can fly planes and whatnot. And so it's kind of really neat the way the tech's kind of like mixed together and everything, and it's very satisfying.
We all played this together for a review, and if I remember correctly, nobody gave it less than an 8.
Yeah,
so it was very favorable.
It was very well reviewed.
My early iterations of this list, I had this like in the 40s, and it slid down a little bit, but I like this one quite a bit as well.
Yep.
Yeah, I think if I played it more than once, it could be in my top 50 probably. I mean, it would definitely be like a top 100 game for me.
For sure.
It definitely. What's it called again?
Beyond the Sun.
Beyond the Sun. I'm trying to find it in my pub meeple because it's definitely in my 55.
Wow,
Whoa.
just
didn't make it. I was like, I know I ranked that one. I know I loved it. So,
it was a really good game.
I'm so bad with remembering names, dude.
You were Dan.
All right, so my number 14, I won't spend a ton of time on because I'm the only one at this table that likes it, or because Dan talked about it like 10 minutes ago. And that is Court of the Dead, Mourner's Call.
Oh, wow.
This is what I was saying, Dan. Like we are tangoing, like we're just switching around.
It's getting a little awkward.
Taverns and Court of the Dead so far. Wow. I can't wait to see what you got at your 11.
Oh, is your Foundations in this 10 too?
Yeah, sure is. Actually,
hilarious.
My version of Foundation will be in this list. It'll be the one game I like that nobody else does. Yeah, but anyways, Court of the Dead, Mourner's Call, everything Dan said. This game is great. The components are amazing. It is criminally underrated. I just think that for what a unique game, for what it does, and the different sort of mechanics that it uses with amazing components and all that stuff.
Dude, those components.
That made it to our the top underrated games, didn't we?
I don't know if it did because we did like they had to be rated under 1,000 or like past 1,000,
and that's probably like 800.
So if we did
probably
like
honorable mention,
if we did like 1,000 to 500, this would probably I think it would be on there.
It was on there.
Not 100%.
It might have been if it was within that rank, I would have mentioned it.
Yeah,
so I don't remember.
It could have been in my.
I thought it did.
But anyways, yeah, that's what I've got. Oh yeah, there we go. Court of the Dead, Mourner's Call, 1,998. It was my number 5 on underrated.
Yeah. That's a great list. So if you guys are like, we talk about a lot of these games that we really like that just don't get a lot of attention, like up there.
Hopefully,
there's going to be there's a link to like our top 10 underrated games. Like so, if it's rated like 1,000 something on BGG, but we think it should be much higher. We did a great list on. You should check those out.
It's ranked 2023 currently.
So it's fallen.
Yeah.
It's fallen. Maybe that wasn't.
It was in the thousands?
Yeah.
I said 1,998 is what it was rated.
Oh, so it dropped.
Whenever we did whatever list
but
that was.
It did drop. Yeah. I was going to say, I thought for sure it was in that list, and these guys can't stop talking about it.
In all fairness, a lot of great games came out this year, and they're going to slowly bump up that list, so that's going to push other games down.
They're going to wreck it. All right, Dan.
Okay, 14. This is honestly a weird one for me because it's so hard to explain. Basically, my 14 is Whitehall Mystery. And it's interesting because I say all the time, if you were to ask me, I would say I like Letters from Whitechapel more. I just think I like the depth that one has over Whitehall Mystery. But Whitehall Mystery does have a similar feeling, plays super fast, and I've played it 10 times more than I have Letters from Whitechapel. And so it just keeps moving up the list because a lot of the times if people are going to ask me, let's play a hidden movement game. What are we going to do? I'll say, let's play Whitehall Mystery. It's short. It gives you the base. And then if they really like it, I'll be like, we should try Letters from Whitechapel sometime because it's just a longer, deeper version, right? But Whitehall Mystery is another Jack the Ripper hunting game. It's actually interesting because it's not actually based on Jack the Ripper. Like, it's clearly made to look like Letters from Whitechapel, and your guy looks like Jack the Ripper, but like it's actually based on a series of cases in Whitehall that weren't related to Jack the Ripper. So, you know, it's whatever. They're just trying to sell you on that point.
Right.
But just a fantastic tiny hidden movement game for like, I think it's 2 to 4 players, plays in maybe, I don't know, 30 to 45 minutes.
Or 5 minutes.
Well, I guess
I
guess if Tim's playing, you could literally play in 5 minutes. But I mean, it is insanely short version because it's way more basic. You know, there's none of that fiddly stuff in it. That, again, I say fiddly, but it's what I like.
It's just what adds complexity to the game.
Right. Basically, Jack has his 3 movements he can use. He can use each twice in the whole game, right? He can move through the alleys, he can move on a car, and he can move through a boat. And he can do each one twice in the game whenever he wants. But once he's out, he's out. And each good guy has an asymmetric ability that they can each use once per game, right? Move through the alley, all that kind of stuff. And then it's just a hunting game. It's actually fascinating, though, because the box is, I mean, the board is a third the size of Letters from Whitechapel board, and yet it only has like 4 less movement spots.
Sure.
They're just really crunched into that little board.
Well, they distilled Letters from Whitechapel down fantastically.
Yes.
I mean, just what a great experience.
Yeah.
Even the shameful 5-minute game we had was still so hilarious and a ton of fun.
No, it was great. Just play again.
Yeah, exactly. No, this is great. If I had played this more, this would be on my list because this. I'm glad it's on your list. It's a great game.
It has a really cool little balancing mechanic in it too, to where I don't remember exactly how it works in Letters from Whitechapel because it's more complicated. But in Whitehall Mystery, the rivers separate the board into 4 quadrants, and basically the bad guy, the hidden person, has to kill someone. I'll just word it as simple as I can. In each of the 4 quadrants.
Right.
So early on, Jack the Ripper is so powerful. He could be anywhere. He could be anything he's doing. But as he's getting away with his murders, you know now he has no reason to go to the top right quadrant anymore. It's like Spectre
Ops. Yeah.
Right.
You know that they got to go for the last objective, and it's somewhere in here.
Yeah, exactly. And so as the game goes on, he gets weaker and you get more powerful as you're closing in on him, and it really captures that really well. But anyway, that is a Whitehall Mystery. Fantastic.
Great game. Great game.
My number 14 is going to put Dan to sleep. And I think it's hilarious that I carefully
wonder which one
chose to put this game directly behind Dan because he doesn't like it. But I love Quacks of Quedlinburg. I've played this game 15 times. I've played it a lot. I've shown it to non-gamers, and everybody has a blast with this game. I love bag building. This was the first real bag building game I played much of, and I just thoroughly enjoy this mechanic now. I really enjoy bag building and press your luck. So combining these two things, I really just have a lot of fun with. And when I play this, I'm gonna talk trash. Like, you know, keep going, Tim. I got the bonus die. Keep drawing. You know, like I'm gonna talk crap.
That was some trash.
You know, it's just I'm gonna egg people on. I could, you know, I could say a lot of things about Tim if I want to trash him.
When not recording,
we're trying to keep this PG.
Yeah, PG, please.
But you know, the table talk is fun. The simultaneous play is fun, where you're just kind of watching what other people do. And yeah, you know, unless you're one of those people that just go 3, 2, 2, bust. Unless that happens to you too much, I could get it. But and that's happened to me. But I still enjoy this game so
That's the difference
much.
between you and Dan.
I had a game of this game. This is like a, you know, little over an hour.
About an hour.
Yeah.
I had a game where I busted every single turn, and I didn't even like push it. It was just that I pulled every white every turn, and I'm just like, this is fun. Like,
Rat tails, baby.
Dude.
Woo!
In all fairness, great mechanic.
Yes,
That
rat tails are a
system
great
is
catch-up
great
mechanic.
Yep.
I got
Love some
another
ketchup
game.
on rat tails.
My game with the best catch-up mechanic you'll have to wait for next week. But yeah, I just thoroughly enjoy Quacks. I actually have not played with the Alchemists. I have only
good.
so far played with Herb Witches, and I like that one-time ability a lot. It's really cool.
The coins.
And the new The new one that allows you to copy other chips.
Yes.
The Nernroot or whatever it is.
Oh no, it's
that new resource where you can copy another one. That's like my favorite thing to buy. I love that.
I don't.
But
I rarely buy those.
Oh really? Wow.
Ooh,
but yeah,
tactics.
I just love just trying to draw your pot up as high as you possibly can, and then you run those bonus dice, and they're like, ooh, new chips, and just that progression between rounds and buying those new chips. I love this game.
I love buying new chips that I'll never see. Oh man, I got 37 chips in here. Wait. Oh, yeah.
Busted. All right.
I just have the worst luck in that game.
I had this.
It won't let me like it.
It slipped a little. There's variations of this list where this was in the top 10.
Nice.
Damn.
Like it a lot.
So number 13. Speaking of Chris and Darcy.
Uh-oh. I know what it is.
Yeah, this is Dan's number one game for theme for Halloween. Abomination, Heir of Frankenstein. So good. It's a very crunchy worker placement game where you are collecting body parts from a variety of places.
Ew.
Yeah, whether it be the cemetery, the morgue, or the freshest of all.
The gallows? Oh, wait.
No, well, that too. Or you just, murder. Or you play Tim style and just use a bunch of animal parts.
Listen, don't matter. Dog legs work just as good as people legs.
You can get 4 of them. But you're literally like creating like arms and you're fleshing them out and you're zapping with electricity to try to bring them back to life. It's so cool. Like the way this game works. I just really appreciate it. And
it's a little long.
That's the biggest knock on it is it can take a
like
while.
to try
Designer variant.
I would like to try that with the Igor.
Designer variant makes it
Igor.
shorter.
The Igor. Oh, Igor.
I will have to check that out because it can take about 2 hours to play.
On BGG. It's
but I
by
don't
the
mind
designer.
it. Yeah, I will have to
Every
check that
time I've
out.
played it, it's overstayed its welcome slightly, and I like everything else about it. I'm just like, man, just knock off a good
That's
half hour,
20
40
minutes, 30 minutes. Yeah,
I
Get
like
down like an hour and a half.
I like my father's work more, but this game is fantastic.
Yeah.
I really want to play this, so go ahead and write it down.
Consider it written.
I have not played this one yet, and I love the idea.
Your list
of
is
this
huge
game.
This
over
is
here.
39 for me. It was in my
Nice.
top 50.
Nice.
It's going on my list of games I hate because you guys keep talking about them, and I haven't played it yet.
Nice.
Checks out.
So my lucky number 13 game is my second favorite 4X game. My niece recently just asked me if we could play this game by referring to the game where she jumped into the sun.
Oh, nice.
This game is so much fun. It's a little bit of a beast to teach, kind of like my other favorite 4X game. But Zaya, Legend of a Drift System, is just such a cool game, and you can make this game as long or as short as you want by capping the victory points you're going to play to. I would love to play a more epic version of this game.
Yep.
Usually when we play, I play from like 5 to 10, depending on the amount of time we've got, right? But I would love to play like to 15 or 20 points on this game sometime, just to
I'd
really
love to do that.
just to really dig in, because what this game does is you have a spaceship and you have a board for your spaceship,
Which is cool.
will allow you to like put armaments on there, but they're like Tetris pieces, so they're only going to fit.
It's like the 80s style like RPG backpack where you're trying to like
it's
get
that thing that
things
Dan
in there.
hates about Merchants of the Dark Road.
Yeah, it's his least favorite part.
Right.
Yes.
Where you
That's
fit
great.
everything into your pack.
Yeah,
You got to fit it on your ship.
Worst game I've ever played.
Yeah, he hates it. But anyways, I love that aspect of it. I also love, though, that you can get points by, well, let's say Bob is killing other players. So he's getting fame for that, but he's also getting bounties. So I can collect on those bounties by going after Bob, or I could do the exploration stuff and get points for doing exploration. Yeah. You get points for delivering, filling contracts.
Right.
You know?
I just love the idea of, I've only played this game once. It was thoroughly enjoyable, but I just love the idea, and people are going to think this is boring as hell. But I love the idea of playing a game for like 2 hours, 3 hours, and I'm just like working a trade route.
Yeah.
I'm just like delivering
but,
stuff.
but you don't even just have to focus on the one thing, you know? And but the trade route is so interesting because the way the tiles come out, right? Because it's like, well, I need to deliver these goods to the Arrakis system. Well, that system's not out yet. So I guess I better go explore.
Now we're in Dune.
You know, I just named a planet I could think of. They're on Dantooine. That's where they're at.
There we go. I have some bad news for you.
Dantooine's fine. It's Alderaan that's a real bad one.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Dantooine gets wrecked in Knights of the Old Republic, and even then it doesn't get destroyed. Anyways, but Zaya just is so cool. Comes with pre-painted minis. You can when you upgrade your ships, you buy you can upgrade your ships, give it different weapons and stuff.
Right.
And
you like sell your ship and get a new one.
But you can get a new ship, which also gives you more reputation, right? Because now it's like, oh, they got a better ship.
Look how big that one is. A whole lot more stuff.
And the ships have special abilities. There's planets that are lawful where you can break into those planets by going through like the planetary shield.
Defenses, yeah.
You know, and you might take damage. You could blind jump into another system.
Yeah. Good times.
My niece was referring to the time where Pete was trying to win the game by destroying other players, and he needed one more point. My niece Cameron, who was only like 12 at the time, was like just easy pickings. She was right there, and she just flew into the sun
to deny
him. Well, so what happens though is if you get destroyed, you roll a 20-sided die, and there's spawn points on the different tiles, right? So she just spawned across the universe.
You don't lose the points you have.
No,
oh, okay.
you lose your goods and stuff, like any goods you were carrying. But yeah, so she popped back up over here. Now he's all the way over here near no one because she was running this way, and I'm like, well, I'm going to stay over here, like away from Pete. And so they had to come all the way back over. I don't remember who won that game, but it was such a good time. And again, though, right? Like, we love games where you walk away and you've got a story to tell.
Yeah.
And I've never played Zaya and not had a story to tell about it afterwards, whether I crashed through this asteroid field trying.
Well, that's the whole thing about a sandbox, right?
Yeah.
Is you're going to just walk away with these stories that you created.
And that's either the appeal or the drawback for some people, right? It's not going to appeal to everybody. But for me, it's a freaking home run. I just love it.
So... Go on.
Oh, I got to play this game a handful of times years ago, and it's been a while since I've played it. I'm curious, do you have either of the expansions?
Everything.
So
the comments are awesome.
Which one fixed? I had only played base game, and there was this issue where you could run the same trade route over and over and over, and there was an expansion that fixed this because you could just take one cube back to the shortest route and just keep running. There's nothing stopping you from running that route over and over and over. And every time we played it, everybody else would just do that same thing. So we had to house rule it to where once you run one trade route, you can't return a cube back to the same planet again. And there was an expansion that fixed this, and it does that by once somebody returns cubes, it like lowers the price that it lowers the value of them.
Yeah, so I barely even remember
one of the expansions does fix this.
Because I don't play with jerks that would
I don't
just
play with douchebags.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, everybody sees
Must be that Warsaw group.
Oh, here's the no, definitely not. Before that, but this is like everybody's seeing this path to where he's making way more money than everybody else. Why wouldn't I just keep doing that?
Right. But the initial "he" is the issue to me. There, I just don't do that.
No, I don't recall. I've never encountered that it being an issue.
Right.
So I can't tell you what expansion.
You must have had like since planets do pop up randomly, you must have just had two planets side by side that were like, oh, they want something super expensive and they're going to pay something that's super cheap here. So you can kind of keep going back and forth and really.
And yeah, I guess if the value goes down and whatever, but
yeah, that would make it.
I did have. You said this is a game you play and you end up with stories to play. There was a game I played where. It's the mechanic where you push your luck too far and then you're just floating in space. You can't do anything. You run out of steam.
Yeah.
They let me float in space for like 2 rounds, and then finally somebody at the table is like, "Oh, okay, I'll go rescue Mike," and then I won. So I'm just sitting there just watching everybody like, "All right, guys, I'll use the bathroom," and then I finally get rescued. I'm like, "Ha ha!" So yeah, it's a lot of fun though.
Yeah, right on.
You're being rescued.
Dan.
This is a rescue. Hi. My 13. So, Mike, sometimes you just got to have a small, cheap game, in your top because some people just leave those out.
I know what
it's
it is.
It's not long shot the dice game.
Nope, it's not.
What is it, Mike?
Starts with a J.
It does not, you fool.
Jaipur?
Dang it.
It is by Meramorph Games, and it is the Shipwreck Arcana. This is a just fantastic, small box, cheap, cooperative deduction game where there are tarot cards out that have, I don't know, not requirements, but like rules on them. And you have tiles in your hand, and you are playing a tile out so that the other players can guess what the other tile is in your hand. So, if your other tile is between 7 and 9, place your other tile here. So you put the one there. Now they know in your hand you have a 7 through 9, and then the turns can continue. And when it gets back to you, they remember that rule, and you draw from the bag, and then you put another tile down. Unfortunately, you might have to put the 7 through 9 down, but hopefully you can tie the rules together where you don't. There's way more to it than that, but that's the basics. It's a very simple cooperative deduction game. And I just love this game so much. You don't see cooperative deduction a lot in general, honestly. And I thought this was a nice way to get a nice family night, family weight deduction game. It has beautiful components. I mean, man, just one of the most
tiles are
one of the most worth it games.
It is a beautiful game, especially for that price point and everything. Yeah.
Yep. But that's it, guys. Check out Shipwreck Arcana if you like some, semi-simple deduction, but a little tight.
I'm pretty sure what Jason and Katie introduced us to this game, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, my number 13. This is one of my most played games of the year, which is crazy because I just picked this up 6 weeks ago, and I absolutely love Ready, Set, Bet. I love this game. I played it.
It's so good.
I played it on Thanksgiving with my mom, my dad, and my uncle. Oh my gosh. Yeah, just so much fun. I mean, I'm getting people. Yeah, come on, number 10. I love that. That experience is just so hilarious and fun to me when you take people that don't play a lot of games and they're screaming at these fake horses on a 6-inch screen. But
and you show them Dune Imperium.
But then we'll talk about that shortly. Yeah, I thoroughly love this game. It's fun. It's fun.
I think it's definitely better at a higher player count because I tried to play with just 2 of us and it was just kind of boring because you're not really fighting over spaces.
Yeah, there's not a lot of fighting. Yeah. I still have played it at 2 or 3 just because I love it that much and I just want to show it to people. Sure. And I'm like, here, try this out. And then, we'll still have fun. Sure. But yeah, definitely you want 4 or more.
Yeah. We almost played it the other day with like 8 because he was going to put it on the TV.
Yeah.
And we were going to do that. And we almost did it, but then it split into 2 groups and we did other stuff instead. But I honestly, as not a huge fan, I mean, it's not bad, but just like not a huge fan. I was kind of looking forward to 8 of us yelling at a TV. That would be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
you have to get your bets in early then.
I mean, you either put it on a tablet or when we played it on Thanksgiving, I streamed it to the 65-inch, and that was it was great. So
I have a 65-inch.
Gosh dang it. I mean, I've already played this 11 times in 6 weeks. I really love this game. It's just incredibly fun, and I like those VIP cards and those extra upgrades you get in between rounds. Those feel good.
So this is your favorite horse racing game?
It is.
It is not your favorite gambling game, correct?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, it is. Okay, I couldn't remember.
I don't have anything higher than that.
Something else. So.
And I already had long shot in this 10. So.
All right, we're good. My penultimate one for today then.
Penultimate. Teller ultimate.
My number 12.
Yeah, that's what we're on.
Tim.
Yeah.
Foundations of Rome.
Oh, God. Wow. I thought I was going to be
Same 10. Good job, Bob. Good Bob job.
It's a great game. It's beautiful. It's it's lightweight enough to where I have taught so many non-gamers how to play this game, and it gets requested when I go to Meeples. I can't wait for the second Kickstarter to fill it because they're actually making a special bag to hold this big awkward thing, and it'll be easier to take it to the game nights and Meeple meetups and whatnot. But it's just fantastic. It looks so good.
I can't wait for you to play this game with people, and they're like, "This is awesome. Where can I get it?" And then you're like, "Well,
you can't. No, you can. It's
just take a loan out on your house.
Every other Friday at my place, we have a game night.
Come on over. Yeah. They're out there. Yeah. You just gotta know somebody.
He meant the price.
I meant the price.
It is a little expensive.
Yep.
The base game is
so is Cthulhu Wars.
Yes.
I'm starting to see some on the third-party market reasonably priced. So
yeah, and you can get the non-sum drop versions for $150.
For a 20-minute game.
Well, I mean, considering
it's 45 minutes to an hour.
That's ridiculous.
I mean, considering they want
$90
for
20 minutes because he knew he was going to lose.
Base Lords of Vegas, which there's not $90 worth of components in that box. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, there's not. There's not. Yeah.
And that
anyway, just saying.
But I have a more fun time playing Lords of Vegas. It's more satisfying. Better stories.
Just overpriced.
See, Bob, I got excited because my number 12 is a game I know you love. Ooh. I don't know if you guys have played it.
Uh-oh.
Good.
Let me see.
Time out.
It is my favorite Marty Wallace game, so I'm going to go with
snap.
Marty Wallace Day today, and that is Australia.
Great game.
It is so much fun. I just love the time mechanic in there. So when you're taking actions, it's going to cost you so much time. And then the next player is basically it's basically the person furthest back. Yeah. So you go until you catch up. But
I do love that mechanic.
You are so we're up to 3 of the ones that Dan loves.
Yeah,
3 things Dan loves.
Oh crap!
That's right.
We're running out.
I don't like any mechanics in my top 10 games.
But the idea behind this game is that if you are aware of a study in Emerald, you have basically purged England of the great old ones that were controlling it. And now we are colonizing Australia, only to find out that the great old ones have been hiding in the depths of Australia.
That's where they send all the great old ones.
And so, the prison colony. And so you are building these tracks out deeper into Australia and making farms and things like that to help you get resources. But the further out you go, the more the monsters are. And so now you can collectively lose the game if the monsters get to the shore and destroy a port. So it's kind of on everybody to then fight the monsters and keep them sort of at bay.
Correct.
While trying to build up your own
semi co-op.
Very semi-co-op.
Champions of Midgard does the same thing.
But
to an extent. Yeah, you got to fight those trolls.
Yeah, but these are better. Because they go through and actually pillage locations.
Yeah, they start tearing up your railroads.
There is representation on the board of the punishment you are taking for neglecting these things, and you can also though guide them to other people's.
That checks out.
You can trigger the exploration tokens on other closer to other people's settlements, and then make them go after their settlements, which is super fun. I don't know, just really. Really good game. That might have been the first Martin Wallace game I played.
Sounds really cool.
I don't know if it was or not.
I played a prototype of it at Pat and Julia's. Imagine that, before it came out. This game just blew me away. I love the theme. I love the gameplay itself. It's a ton of fun. I've got the expansions. I can't wait to play them. Mm-hmm. So
big box.
I really need to play this one.
Me too. Let's do a 2-player sometime.
Aw, Bob and I. We'll play 2-player.
Yeah.
What? Same table. 2 copies of the same game set up.
Well, I have it, and he's got it. So
very good. Oh, you guys can't play it because you don't even have it. Oh, that's too bad.
We'll play twice. We'll play mine 2-player and the other one 2-player.
We'll play solo next to each other. Okay. Australia is my number 12. Martin Wallace.
My number 12 is the big boy. I mentioned one in the trilogy. It might have been last week. And this one is Ankh, Gods of Egypt by Simon. This is my favorite in the trilogy. Every time I play this game, it's just an amazing experience going in on it. Now, we have some of the 3D, stuff that you get.
I mean, we're playing with the Kickstarter
stuff, right?
The Kickstarter version
stuff, so I'm sure that helps me thematically.
Sure.
I'm a very theme-oriented person when it comes to board games, so that makes a big difference. If the first time I play the game, you can really suck me into the world, I like the game better. That's just how I work. And this one does it in spades.
In pyramids.
Or an obelisk.
Anyway, just a really cool level up mechanic on your player board. The score track and how that works with the merging, I love.
Yeah, I do too.
It's funny, when the game came out, it was very contentious, and then it kind of people were kind of negative, and now I only hear positive things about it.
I think it's because all the people
that wanted to hate it.
I think all the people that didn't like the merge mechanic just stopped talking about it.
Yeah,
and
they got rid of their
they
copies.
sold it. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, maybe it is a big part of the game, and if you don't like that, it affects the ending of the game usually.
Yeah,
so.
It ruins the game for some people,
right?
And they'll just play without it.
I think it's awesome.
Which I think is a shame. I think it's such a unique catch-up mechanic. I really think it makes the game better.
Yeah, it upsets the people who are currently in first place.
On top of that, a really cool different action selection system with the 4 tracks, and once you pick one, you can't do anything above the one that you already did. I think it's above, right?
Yes.
There are so many positives of this game.
I
love the card combat in the game. It's not original. It's been in mini games, but guess what? It's good in every game that it's in. Guess what? I don't like Sentry. But that's the best part of Sentry is the way that the cards work where you're playing them and then eventually you got to play a card to pick them back up and stuff. It's just such a clever, whoever came up with that, like, I hope you have a copyright on it because it's in every game ever now because it's great.
I wonder if it was Mac Gertz, the designer of Concordia. That was the first game I saw that.
Not possible. That one's crap.
You like Concordia.
No, I haven't played it.
He hasn't played it.
Oh my! And he
just so you know, every time I say a game's bad, I haven't played it. Yeah. There's like no games I say are bad that I've actually played.
Neither
I
of
don't
these
like
guys
some
have
games.
played Concordia. I'll get mad about that next
say
week.
like a game is bad. So yes, Ankh, I believe it has not been covered by everyone yet. So you'll hear about it more eventually.
Stay tuned, baby.
That's right. Me and Tim gonna tag team this one.
Yeah. So anyway, guys, seriously, Simon Gods of Egypt by Eric Lang
it's
is
so
a
good.
fantastic. I guess I didn't say most important thing is it's area control, right?
I will throw out one other thing, and this is a testament to how much I do enjoy this game. Mike and I recently, the most recent time that I've played it, played with Mike and Jesse. We tried a new scenario. Hated the scenario.
Really? Yeah.
Still had a great time playing the game though. Even though I was like, I don't know if I'll ever play this scenario again. It was so difficult. We all lost. Or no, did Jesse barely squeak out a win?
He did, yeah. If you were
That's Jesse.
if you were still in the red at the third conflict phase, you lost. Like game over.
Wow.
And we decided since it's three of us, we're all experienced, we've never been able to play any variant setups or scenarios. We're like, let's just pick one.
Right.
And I didn't like that scenario either.
Was that the main gimmick of the scenario? Was just that?
It was like you don't gain devotion, or like it was in a weird, you get devotion in a very weird way.
Or every time you gain devotion, you lose a devotion. It was something.
And yet devotion is what you need to not die. Okay.
Yeah.
The game was working against you. It was very difficult.
The theme of the thing is that the gods people are distracted and not paying attention to religion as much.
Right.
So it's much harder to gain
and you'll be
devotion.
forgotten. Thematically, I guess that makes sense. But yeah, I could see how that's hard.
It was just really difficult, like to the point where it's like, it was so painful. Again, still had a great time playing. I don't care. It did not affect my opinion of the game. I guess, if anything, it only strengthened my opinion because it's like I played the scenario that I hate, and I still love the game. It wasn't like, oh, this is a soft spot.
Right. It sounds like, that's why I asked, because it sounds like, in all fairness, every mechanic was the same, right? Which is why it's not like it made you dislike the game. It's just this. It's way harder to get victory points, and if you don't get a certain amount by a certain time, you're out of the game. But that's it.
Yeah.
So, okay. Yeah.
I didn't
it's
like
not going to really ruin the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, still an awesome game. Wait a week.
It's another one, by the way, that I just don't own because it is just really expensive. And
I was with you when you almost bought it.
Every penny.
Yeah.
I've almost bought it 4 times.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, every time I'm just holding it. I almost bought it on Black Friday. The other day I was literally holding it. Man, anyway, it's so good.
It is. So, okay, my number 12. We're going to settle some debates here.
Well, no, we're not.
No, we are. So my number 12, Bob just said this game like on my last one.
Okay.
He just said this game. I was talking about Ready, Set, Bet, and for whatever reason, Bob brought up Dune Imperium, which is my number 12.
Oh, I think that was me.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I think I compared it to Dune Imperium for some reason.
Yeah,
I
makes
said
no sense.
I said after introducing them to that, because they're not gamers, introduce them to Dune Imperium right afterwards.
Yes.
So they're like, what? Anyway, wait, but you haven't mentioned the other one yet.
Oh, that's
Your
correct.
list is invalid.
Yeah,
So if I don't mention either, does my list still count?
You haven't played them enough.
Now
Okay,
my
yeah, that's true.
I've
I
played
haven't.
this one 4 times. I have not played with either of the expansions. So Rise of Ix haven't used it yet. And of course Immortality. I think it's available now, but that one looks fascinating. But
I think it's at retail yet.
this game, not good at 2 players. You need 3 and 4 to shine. When you have 3 or 4 players, this game is amazing. Every time I play it, I'm like moving it farther up my list. I used to have this in the 20s. Then we played it at my house about a month ago, and my Uncle Mo came over, and we were playing with Dan and Jesse, and we had this really tense game where everybody had a chance to win, and it was like 9-9 to 8-7, and I'm looking at the board, and I'm like, okay, well, I could just let the game in now and somebody else could win, but then I won't have a chance to win. We're going to keep going. I did some move that extended the game by like 2 more rounds, And the fact is, normally I would not do that. I would just go, okay, I've been playing for 2 hours. I've already had a blast. This has been an epic game. I'll just do whatever and we'll let this game end. But I'm like, no, this game must go on. And we played for an extra 40 minutes and still everybody was at the edge of their seat. Like all 4 people had a chance to win all the way up until that final round. And even though I drug the game out, like everybody kept talking about how much they enjoyed it when we were done, and it didn't matter that it took 2.5 hours. It's just a very good, tense, strategic game. I really like the play cards and then save some to reveal them. I think that's a really cool mechanic, and I can't wait to try the expansion.
I can't wait to play this more. I enjoyed this
so
game
good.
A lot the first time I played it, just like Lost Ruins of Arnak. I think they're both different enough. I think they get compared.
They're very different.
I understand why they get compared.
Right.
But I feel like they're very
mechanics,
different.
and they came out almost at the same time, like within a few months of each other.
But the themes, the style, even just, I mean, they share some similar mechanics, but I guess the end result and the actual gameplay just feels so different because of the way and the reasons why you're doing things.
Well, yeah. The one is way crunchier and tighter.
Yeah. Dune Imperium is very tight.
So it depends on what, you know. You
Arnak's a little looser, a little more forgiving.
And has a tech tree, which a lot of people care about, or tech track.
Yeah.
I mean,
research.
Bob just talked about a game that is only a tech tree.
Yeah. True. Yeah.
True. The game.
Tech tree, the game. All right. Last one of the day.
Number 11.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gray Fox Games does not get enough credit sometimes. I think people just don't know if they exist or what. But they released this game, and I got the deluxe version, and it was fantastic. And I think it did get some hype, so they started to release the upgrade packs for the people who didn't get the upgraded version. But
I need to play this game.
After the Empire is a fantastic worker placement tower defense game. It is so much fun. Like, you got your own castle. It starts out wooden. It's got these little cubes on there. You're playing worker placements to recruit these people to help defend your castle. You've got farms around the outside, and there's all these face-down cards that are square. And then once everybody's done doing all their worker placement, you're going to start flipping those cards over, and that's where all the people are going to start attacking you from the one side or the other side, the north side, east side. And they're coming in, and you got people helping defend. They're raising your farms. They're attacking your walls. You're sending people out to collect those resources so you can try to rebuild those walls again. You're upgrading your wooden bits to stone bits because it can hold more defenses and everything. You're building turrets so they can help defend against everybody coming on there. It's fantastic. It's got a great balancing mechanic to where you think you're going to try to go and get a whole ton of gold, but the more gold you have at your castle, the more people that are coming to attack you. So it's got a really great mechanic to help keep everything balanced and keeping one person from running away with it. It's just so much fun. Like, I have such a great time playing it. Everybody's like, oh, I want to play that. I want to play that because it's got great table presence to it. It's a fantastic game. Gray Fox Games, After the Empire.
Write that one down.
I need to play that. I've only heard good
Put it on the
things.
list.
This is a great game. It's in my top 100. I don't know exactly where it is. There are 2 games I mentioned when I talk about the greatest catch-up mechanics in games, and that's Quacks of Quedlingberg's Rat Tales and After the Empire. Actually has like 2 or 3 catch-up mechanics. I can't remember off the top of my head right now. But like, there are multiple things that are just like, they're so well designed. The game feels so fair for the most part. Unless, listen, you can get really unlucky. With how there's mitigation with the
scopes
periscopes
you can
and
see where they're coming from,
stuff, but like
guys.
sometimes you can just get really unlucky and sacked, and that hurts a lot. But it feels really good. It's a great game.
It keeps somebody from running away with it though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is pretty expensive though because there is no version without.
There is.
The 3D. There's a version without the 3D
That's
stuff.
what I'm saying.
I've never seen it.
They're out there. It's the non-deluxe version.
I have never
But the
seen
deluxe
that.
version is so much cooler because it has those big plastic pieces.
Wow,
to it.
I have to look that up. I've never seen that version. Okay.
Because they released upgrade kits.
Right. Okay. No, you're right.
Because people got it and they're like, oh, this is cool. But yeah, those upgrade kit makes it worth it because you get the bits with
I'll
it.
check it out.
All right, everybody else can just like turn off their mics because my number 11 is my most controversial one, but it is my 3rd favorite deck builder. I looked at my list to confirm.
Oh, gosh, I know.
Listen, when I get into the hobby the way I did, I was just leaving playing Magic the Gathering.
Okay.
So to play a deck builder that I didn't have to keep sinking money into booster packs, right? But
just standalone expansions.
You know,
Let's count up the money here, shall we?
I'm still way ahead.
No.
Yeah.
Be careful. Magic's way more expensive.
I'm just kidding.
However,
how much did you just spend on Magic today?
you know,
More than I
Tim,
spent
this is a
on
board game show. Than a Magic show. It's just good.
drop it.
Yeah. So I've lumped it all together, but this is DC, the deck building game.
Yeah.
This was a game that got me into the hobby as it is today. It has dropped down to 11.
No,
Yeah.
it's your third favorite deck builder?
Third favorite.
He hasn't mentioned Into the Echo Side yet.
You're right.
It's not on the list.
I'm kidding.
This is
No, but third favorite, that's fascinating. Continue. Sorry, but I'm just like, wow, that's crazy. This used to be like your second favorite game, and now it's your third favorite deck builder.
well, it's all the way down to my number 11.
Yeah.
And yeah, this was in a top 3, top 5 for sure. But I love this game. I get it played with family. You know, this is like you described earlier Wingspan as like a comfort game, right? This is a game where it's like I don't even need the rule book. Like
Your
you
brain's
just,
turned off.
bring it out. You just I can just relax, play the it's all muscle memory. I mean, I played this game twice at Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
You know,
Tournaments.
I played
Weird
it.
Al impersonators.
Played it a bunch of tournaments. You know, Bob and I played it with my who was my nemesis. Then.
Yeah. He didn't know he was Tim's nemesis, but he was.
I got a few of those.
Yeah.
That's the secret. They never know.
never know.
You never know when the dagger is going to come. No, but this game is a game that I have gotten a ton of joy out of and a ton of plays. And no, it's not perfect. Yes, it is flawed. Yes, it has problems, but there are and not all iterations are equal, right? But the most recent one is the most interesting one, which is that Dark Knight's Metal, which has a really interesting sort of punishing mechanic, and it can really like flip things around. But I mean, even when we play, we house rule, where a lot of times when I'm playing it with people that have already played, we play with like 2 heroes to give you more asymmetry and more options, you know. To give so that way, like, oh, I only do well if I'm getting equipment, and then Bob's buying up all the equipment. Well, it's like, well, now I've got these 2 heroes, so I'm not just
Plan B.
Yeah, you know, I've got different ways to sort of make that deck fire off, you know, and do things. And again, some of the sets are better than others, but I just really enjoy this game. I've gotten a ton of plays. I mean, if you go like how many times
Cost per play?
Yeah, cost per play.
This game cost me 15 cents to play.
Yeah, I'm in the sense. I really am.
you
You know,
are.
I mean, having this game for 10 years,
Right.
you know,
Gotten a lot of
and the
play.
other version, you know, with the other versions and everything, just on average, I've gotten a lot of mileage out of this, and I absolutely love this game. I will always have a soft spot for it. I'm not going to stand on the mountaintop and go, "You guys, this is way better than Foundations of Rome." Like, more people are going to like Foundations of Rome, but this is a game that I just love. You know.
I just think it's funny when you're calling people your nemesis and they don't know. I just figure that like you're like, haha, I finally beat you, and it's like they're like Thanos. Like, I don't even know who you are.
There's a lot of that.
It's a fine game. This is unfortunately like smartphone for me. It's fine. Come on, you can't use the F
It's
word for it.
okay.
Oh, sorry. No, this is like smartphone for me, where I've never played this and not just been utterly destroyed and humiliated, and it's not fun. Why did I play?
Sure.
I'm in last place by 8,000 points, and you don't even have 8,000 points, so somehow I'm in the negative.
Into that Yu-Gi-Oh scoring.
Yeah, buddy.
But yeah, DC the deck building game is my number 11, and I just lumped them all together because I would rather talk about more games than to go, I like Heroes United here, and then I like,
sure.
Dark.
They're the same.
You know,
Same.
they are the same game with
I
just
mean, I
some
guess
different.
Dark Knight's Metal does
standalone
change
expansions.
the rules quite a bit, but it's the same system.
It all fits in my
right?
multiverse box.
Sure, there you go.
Multiverse.
So your number 11 is your multiverse.
Yeah.
box. There you
My
go.
DC multiverse box.
My mic's back on.
Oh, okay. Hi, Mike. Welcome back.
My number 11 was number 8. It dropped out of the 10. This is like the third game.
Man, why do you even talk about
Fourth.
it?
I think this is the fourth game to do that. But it's 8. It just doesn't get played as much anymore, and it has kind of been replaced by Bri Belly, and that is Wolves of Mercia.
I understand why.
Right.
Man, next week's gonna be so tough for me. Sorry, go ahead.
So Wolves of Mercia is a social deduction game, werewolf-themed, game. But it just does everything right. There's a problem when you play games like Werewolf and Town of Salem and stuff like this. There are problems in those games inherently that people enjoy, so I guess you won't use the word problem, but problems to me in those games. And Wolves of Mercia came out. It was like a $15 game, and it plays in, hour. No, it's probably a little over an hour, because the one negative I would still give people for Rules of Mercia is because of the way it's set up, you have to go through every roll every night, because the whole point is you don't know who's in the game.
There.
So so if you're only playing with 5 people and there's 12 rolls, 7 of the rolls are useless.
Yeah.
You know, so that's a slight issue, but player elimination solved in this game. As you die, you become ghosts, which give you new win conditions. Everyone has an amazingly fun, to me, asymmetric ability. There's only one team in the game, that's the cultists, and they can do interesting stuff together. Every other player has their own win condition that they're working towards. Like I said, it plays pretty fast. That's a positive. It plays good from 5 all the way up to 15 or whatever you can play to. 5 to 12, I think, is what it is. They all play good. I've played at 5, I think, is the lowest, and it was a fine time. I had a good time. There are so many positives to this game, and if you like social deduction games, it's the second one I would recommend.
It's my second favorite social deduction.
Right. It was, for a very long time, honestly, it was my favorite.
But it's way more accessible than the best
Exactly. It is very accessible, which is why it might be my most recommended to people who are like, I think I'd like that. It's $15.
Right. Although you didn't really see it in stores. You got to go to their website.
Correct. I don't know if it's like now you might be able to find it on online retailers.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did.
Back when I got it, it was basically just their website.
Yep.
But
Very
I'm glad
easy to find.
that they're easier to find now, because they deserve it. You did a great game, Brybelly. You solved issues. Oh, no moderator. That's the other positive I always like mentioning. Since it's the same rolls every night, like I said, that slight negative, it elongates the game slightly. That also means, though, that all I had to do was make one recording. Boom. You don't need a moderator now. You just play the recording every night, and now everyone can play. You don't have to have someone just sitting out, rules lawyering, right? So anyway, Wolves of Mercia, I have a feeling it'll be talked about again. Maybe not. We'll see. So that is my number 11, finishing off today's list.
My number 11, again, settles the debate. And that is because I do like Lost Ruins of Varnak better than Dune Imperium. And they are that close.
That is negligible, though.
I know.
That is like the same.
I know. That's how close they are.
So they're 11 and 12?
Yeah. They're 11 and 12 for me. They are that close. It's another game. This game I had this at like 8 at one point. And again, I just multiple iterations of this list. But every time I play it, it just goes higher and higher up my list. I just thoroughly enjoy what this game offers. I prefer it because I like how open-ended it is. I mentioned earlier, I like games that okay, here's all this stuff, do as many things as you can, and then pass when you're done. I really like that kind of open-ended gameplay.
Me too.
I really like that research track and the mechanics that are in there. But I think my favorite thing about this game, side note, it's still very good at 2. I did say Dune Imperium, not a good 2-player game. Lost Ruins of Varnak, still very good at 2. Yeah. I've had no issues playing this game at 2.
Good day.
No, go ahead.
I would not call Dune Imperium a bad game at 2, but
you have to use an app.
Well, you don't have to use an app. There's cards version too that comes in the game. But you have to play with an AI, and the AI isn't very engaging. It's definitely a lesser experience. I would not go so far to say it's bad.
Just blocks.
But Bob and I played a 2-player game once, and we tested it out. And again, this isn't good, but I don't know, to say it's bad, I wouldn't do that.
I feel like the Arnak, and again, I've very limited exposure to both of these, but I feel like Arnak was easier to learn. Even though there's still probably that same level of complexity, but I find that Dune Imperium felt crunchier.
Right.
But maybe also a little more satisfying.
Tighter.
Yeah, it's a lot tighter. But I also found that, because I love the theme, I might lean more towards Imperium just because I love that theme more, where Arnak is sort of a generic Raiders of the Lost Ark kind of thing.
It's even closer to this doesn't mean anything, but it's even closer to an Uncharted or something, because you're fighting mystical
Yeah, but
creatures.
I've never played Uncharted, right? So it's got to be Raiders for
me. I'll share my 2 cents on the 2-player part, because the first 2 times I played Dune Imperium was at 2-player, and I'm like, this is okay. The first 2 times I played Lost Ruins of Arnak was 2-player, and I'm like, wow, this game is great.
No, sure.
Now, then I play Dune Imperium with 4 players, and I just find myself enjoying it more every time.
No,
whereas the 2-player experience of Lost Ruins of Arnak is just as good as the 3 and 4-player experience, and I think that's what sets them apart. That's one thing that sets them apart.
I'm not arguing any of that. It's just that I'm saying now what you just said, though, is you played 2-player first, and it was okay. And then you played more, and it was way greater. I agree with that completely. That's the thing, though, is I would use the word okay, not bad, totally personal. That's all I was saying.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I looked it up, by the way. See, this is why I think they deserve to be compared. I totally do. I do not think they're the same game, though, and I think that you can own one and not the
You could own both. They don't necessarily cancel each other, right?
Correct. They don't replace each other,
That's where I disagree.
Okay.
Arnak, they are literally so different for me, like just playing-wise, and yet the same, right? Like, the Arnak is 69 for me, and I have not mentioned Dune Imperium. Like, there's a giant difference between the two.
Yeah, well, like we said, they don't cancel each other. You said you disagree with that?
I'm just saying it's this weird middle ground to where I own one and I don't want to own the other one.
Oh, sure.
They're similar enough to me. I
that
don't
it canceled one for you. I got it. I got what you're saying.
But
I think you could. I think somebody could own both and not be like, why do you have the same game in your collection twice?
No, I agree. I don't feel, besides mechanics, I don't think there's any similarities at all.
Yeah.
One has, they both have deck building and they both have worker placement. That's the only similarities, in my opinion.
Yeah.
No, I get that, but that sentence of their mechanics is all they have. I could design the same game twice with the same mechanics, and that's all they have in similar. Yeah, it's the same game. Like that's the mechanics. I get it.
Dune almost feels more skirmishy because of the fighting and everything that's going on. It's more like competitive, like a versus.
Yes, it's by far more competitive.
Whereas an Arnak is a more exploratory, taking my actions open-ended kind of a game.
Yeah, like I defeated this beast before somebody else did. But
yeah, that's why I like Arnak more, because if I'm going to play more of a versus skirmishy type of game, there's other games in that genre I would prefer to play.
Yeah, I agree. I've also called the Dune strategy very linear because you must. Well, he has said that it is possible to win with the deck building strategy, although I think it would be extremely difficult, and I haven't seen any person even come close to pulling that off in our games. Yeah. I would like to see it happen, but as a result, since it hasn't, every game that I have seen, the winner is based on who wins the final conflict.
Right, and this is our Dune Imperium hour. I'm just going to jump in again.
Yeah.
Last time we played, Mike, I only won 1 combat and I won the game.
That's what I say. I have only winning one
Literally
combat.
The time you were talking about last time where you elongated the game, I won that game and I only won 1 combat the whole game.
Yep.
I've played before and without winning any combat. It's harder.
Right.
You have to build a really good deck. But I see that as a positive.
And get up all the other
If you could win by not building a good deck, that wouldn't be very good.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't want to spend too much time on it because we'll talk about it next week.
20 minutes.
What?
So, Mike, what do you like about your number 11, Lost Ruins of Arnak? What I like the most about it is how there are more worker placements come out as you play the game.
Yes.
It feels like you're actually exploring. Like, I got to build up these exploration tokens, and then I got to take a ship. Oh, I started way down here, but I got to go all the way out here with this ship, and then I got to dump these exploration tokens, and then here's this new spot, and then my favorite part, a Guardian comes with it. And the Guardian art is so fantastic. And really, for a retail game, the components of this game are really incredible. Nice. Yeah. I love the art. I love all those acrylic pieces that come with it. I'm just a really big fan of this game, but both games for me are really, really good, and it's like I'm pinching pennies to pick a favorite. I slightly prefer Lost Ruins of Arnak, but when you're at 11 and 12, we're talking about games we love. Right. So we're splitting hairs. So
split a hair.
But that's how close they are for me. I think they're both very good, but very different games.
Right on. Let's run through our 20 through 11 really fast. I want to say real quick though, I'm really excited that nobody else has mentioned DC Deck Builder yet. So that means you guys have rated it higher than me.
The top 10.
That's crazy.
That is hilarious.
Real quick, another Bobism, skirmishy.
Skirmishy.
Well, you just add Y to anything.
I know, but I gotta keep a list of these because when we do through 1 through 10, we're doing all the Bobisms.
Right, that's gonna be a different video.
Yeah.
Top 10.
Anyways, I almost started going with 10 through 1. Better start at 20.
Hey-o.
Spoilers. Right, so number 20, counting down. Agents of Smersh, Planet Unknown, Gorechosen, Lost Ruins of Arnak, Smartphone Inc., Catan, Starfarers, Beyond the Sun, Abomination, the Heir of Frankenstein, Foundations of Rome, and After the Empire.
Yeah, your list isn't valid.
It's pretty good. Yeah. Say a good like 75%.
There's a few games.
75% thumbs up.
Yeah, so my 20 through 11, I have Wildlands at 20. Mind Management, the psychic espionage game, Game of Thrones, Taverns of Tiefenthal, Baseball Highlights 2045, Lords of Hellas, Court of the Dead, Mourner's Call, Zaya, Legend of a Drift System, Australia, DC Duck Builder. That's my 10.
Yeah. Sitting at a 60% good games there, Tim. That's rough.
My list.
Okay, The Taverns of Tiefenthal, Foundations of Rome, Robinson Crusoe, Dune, Court of the Dead, Turing Machine, Whitehall Mystery, The Shipwreck Arcana, Ankh, Gods of Egypt, and Wolves of Mercia.
Okay, mine is Knights of Sidonia by Muse. Clans of Caledonia.
What the heck was that?
Wingspan, Trajan, Longshot the Dice Game, Shards of Infinity. Tim, what's my number 15?
I forgot.
Bora Bora.
Oh, yeah.
14 Quacks of Quedlinburg. 13 Ready, Set, Bet. Dune Imperium. Lost Ruins of Arnak.
Ooh, Mike sitting at a 20% approval by Dan.
Yeah,
that's
Mike,
rough,
that was kind of
boy.
not a good list.
I love these games, and I don't care.
I wish I had actually
haven't
counted
played a
yours.
lot
I
of
didn't
those.
actually count yours.
Yeah, most of Mike's were like this because I haven't played.
I was like,
Oh, is that
why?
why? Because I think you did that for Turing Machine. I thought you did a thumbs down. I was like, he hasn't played.
No,
Why
I
did
did
a
this.
thumbs down? Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I think I might have done that for like interest level
Oh,
and then
sure.
like this. I don't know. Turing Machine's probably pretty fun.
Yeah, if you don't like it, you don't like it.
I don't know. I might love it.
So hopefully you guys were keeping track of your favorite game from each of our 10s. Let us know. If there's crossover, pick your second favorite from one of the other person. Who cares?
He like Lost Ruins for mine and then Lost Ruins for Mike's also.
Right.
Actually, what you do is you do Lost Ruins and then you just do Dune Imperium. Since it's the same game. Which we then spent an hour explaining why it wasn't the same game.
nuances of different.
But then we spent another hour explaining why it is the same game.
It's a complicated mess. Okay.
It is.
That's what happens when you release two games at the same time with adjacent mechanics.
And you have people that are passionate about it.
Yeah. And that's the great thing, right? Is we are doing these lists because we're passionate about games, and you're watching because likely you're passionate about games as well.
Or
So
appreciate
Bored
nuance.
as hell.
yeah, could be. And
If you made it this far.
and if you are that bored, thanks. Hopefully you can wake up now.
Turn autoplay on. It'll go to our next video.
There you go.
Another 2-hour snoozer.
Please do. But yeah, guys, these are an absolute blast to make. I'm gonna be really bummed when we can't
Can't
just
do it
keep,
again.
Keep doing our top.
We'll just
50.
rehash them again.
Yeah.
But then we're planning on doing best 10 of the year.
Yeah, new to us.
That's gonna be fun too.
That'll be a lot of fun.
So-
a lot of new games this year.
Yeah, a lot of new games and new to us games because there's some games that are a little older that I played that I was like, "Bleh," and are on the list. So you can browse also, right? Our lists for spoilers in there. But yeah, this has been a blast. Thank you guys. We've got one more to go. So thanks for sticking with us this far along.
Yeah.
So for the board game rundown, I've been Tim,
Bob,
I used to be Mike.
I'm Dan.
but he's still hot, Mike. We'll see you next time.
That's true.
hot mess.